What is your profession? This is Sparta!
What is going on, everybody? Let me get the right background on. Another night, another stream. You're right. The topic of the night. Do they really care about us? Before we get into topics, let's get some things out of the way here first. Do me a favor. Hit the like, share, subscribe button. It's going to hit me so much. And the best part, it's free. It doesn't cost you guys a penny, nothing. So if you're watching this now, later, future, or in a millennium from now, please hit the button. And also, if I sound great to you on the mic coming in, hit the one button so I know it's happening. And we already have our brother in the building, North Face. Truth North. What is going on, my man? How you been? Haven't seen you on these streets for a hot minute. Hope all is well. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, let me know. I'll throw you the link. So, like I said, how does people care about you? Could be a very important thing. It depends how you take it. And it's a big thing because a lot of people don't know how to take it. It could be a very personal thing. So, by that said, to me, it could be a very good thing. Thank you, my man. I've been having audio issues the last couple weeks. So, before I get into it, let's get our first guest. He's jumping in the background, and of course, we all know him as my boy, Peacock. All right, why do I have your green screen on like that? Let's fix that problem. See why he's not coming in. It was working a minute ago. Let's try this one more time. All right. He just stepped out. So he's coming back up. Here he is, back in. There you are. Peacock, what's up, my man? Sean, can you hear me? Yes? No? Can you hear me? All right. So North Face. I keep saying North Face. Truth North. Shoot me an email, or I'll throw you an email. I want to schedule something because I have a show up your alley. It's about sneak peek. I want to talk about on a future episode about beard versus clean shaven. So I think you'll be the perfect candidate for that one as a guest. So definitely hit me up. So by the way, Sean, can you hear me now? Is that a yes? No? Can you hear me? I know I have you on mute, off mute. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, I'll take that for a no. He cannot hear me or see me. So let me try to send him a private message. Maybe he can hear me better like that. But some reason he can't hear me. All right, so I'm trying to get Sean's attention. Check your settings. All right, let's try this again. All right, let's see what was going on here with him because I can hear him, but he can't hear me, and that's a very awkward conversation right now. So, Sean, if you can see me here, check your ears. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I can't help but laugh at this point. All right, let me see what I can do from this side. There's not much I can do. Can you hear me? It's funny, I can't hear him, but he can't hear me. All right, let's try this. Yeah. How can I get his attention somehow? Let's try this. All right, this is the last option I have. Very last option. Sean, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, finally. I've been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes. All right, Peacock. How are you been? How are you? And welcome back.
Well, thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me again.
I said it once. I say it again. You're always going to have a home and a seat on this table.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I haven't been here soon. I just kind of got lost in some of the details as far as when you were available one week, but the other week I wasn't available. So, but I'm here now. What's going down?
So, future reference for everybody, even for yourself, refresher. Every Wednesday, we're at 9:30. We do the sparring arena. Anybody and anybody's welcome. Come on. The only thing I ask, be respectful of your fellow people on the chat and on the platform. Except that, everybody's welcome. I welcome everybody's opinion. So you know, 9:30 every Wednesday. I do another show on Saturdays, 9:30 also. They hang out. That's more fun. You know, we're talking about Marvel versus DC. I have a cell phone evolution episode. I want to do a beard versus clean shave episode soon. I have one or two people definitely. I have Two North in the chat right now. He's looking to come up soon, so I'm gonna get him up here. I can looking forward to him. And fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I know he's very busy, but I really want to get Dan C on that panel. From people who know who Dan C is, he's a person who inspires me to do my YouTube stuff. He who got me really motivated to start this. He's a great guy. I can't say nothing bad about him. He's a family man, all this stuff. But if you want to know more beards, I know good enough. But he's the man to go to for beards. He's the #1 guy for beards. I can give him credit in that. But anyway, let's get to the show. What do you think, Sean? Ready to hit this? You're on mute.
Yep, I'm ready to do it.
All right, so when you hear the word, they don't really care about us, what comes to your mind first? What's your open statement on that?
The Michael Jackson song. They don't really care about us. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
I knew someone was going to say that, too.
Yeah, the second thing that comes to my mind would be women and men in relationships. And respectfully, it can be either. In my case, of course, I feel I lean more towards the men, and women. They don't really care about us, but I'm sure if I speak to some women, they would probably think or say the opposite. But relationships is the second thing I think about when I think about they don't really care about us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, before we move on too far, I want to get the next person here. And I know she's already ready to start some shit up, knowing her. She loves stirring shit up, you know. But in her defense, it's in her nature. I'm not saying because she's a woman, I'm going to say is because she's from Dallas. That's all I have to say. And of course, I am talking about Bass. Bass, what's going on, girl?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Baz, what's going on? I didn't know it was gonna be Baz. How are you, Baz? Ladies and gentlemen, we're great. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from down yonder, down in Southwest. If it isn't the past, it is definitely Our Lady Baz. Okay, that's my introduction for you.
Before we move on too much, I gotta bring the next person in. I know he's ready to start shit up. I know him. He loves stirring this shit up. And he's been on a little R&R, so I gotta get him in here. And this is the first time on this show, so I know him. So, viewers prescribes, all these guys, whatever that is. You've been warned. So let's get Reckless in here. Come on, dude, get your ass in here.
What's going on, man?
It's been a long time. I must say.
Dude.
If it isn't the one and only Reckless Ray.
Right. Well, I mean, Achilles tendon ruptures aren't fun. So, yeah. So I've been laid up. Like I just got cleared to sit at this desk. So, yeah, I've been sitting around just thinking. So I got a bunch of shit to say because I ain't talked to nobody in like 3 weeks. Period.
Wow.
Fuck me. I'm gonna probably get canceled tonight. So just FYI, you guys, if you need to cancel me, I have a YouTube, Facebook. So just in case that he cancels me, you guys know where I'm at. So Sean already said his open statement. Bass, you want to go next? When you hear they don't really care about us, what is your first thing that comes to your mind? And yes, I know you're gonna think of the Michael Jackson song. So let's skip that part.
It's I guess it would be the government.
Okay.
And if you're talking about relationships, just people who want to use you for whatever reason, finances, sex, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The users do not care. So, yeah.
Ray, what about you? What's your first thoughts?
I was going to definitely go with the government. I would say not only the government, your job, anyone who's extracting a resource.
Yeah.
Anyone who's extracting a resource. Because as soon as you are no longer of value or not the value that they want or the position that they thought you were, it's funny how people switch up. But specifically, like when it's they don't really care about us, I would say in whatever structure you're in, the person at the top.
Yeah.
I agree on that. I agree on all three statements. It could be relationship, it could be friendship, it could be family. That is the biggest one in my opinion, family. Because
True.
as much family says they will watch your back and stuff like that, in my personal opinion, they're the first ones to burn you always. And that's my personal opinion.
So
go ahead.
To that, right? Because yeah, that's true. So family, everybody thinks that's just the people you're blood related to. No, blood makes you relatives, but it's your relationship that makes you family. You know what I'm saying? Family, they're going to have your back, but not all relatives are.
That's facts.
And you can choose your family. So even further out, family, you may be blood related, or you may not be blood related, but you chose to be family by your actions.
That's facts. Because in my personal, again, this is my personal opinion. I can pick my friends who can become my family
Yeah.
over time. I cannot pick my
Yep.
family because they're blood. I'm like, I have literally cut off half my family because they were just poison to me, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And that's why I always say my best friend is more a family than my own family, because my cousin has burned me so many times I can't even count. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put somebody in my life like that who's negative and so on, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Let me just fix
It
one.
makes
Go ahead, right.
Oh, it makes perfect sense because not everybody's moving the same direction. I mean, family. I don't even look at family that way. You have blood and then you have family. You can't pick blood. That's what you can't pick.
Right.
The blood don't make you family. And like, if you're not
Right.
family, you're just not family. Like, it's just keep it moving. Like, yeah, we're related, but like, I don't like how you're rocking. And until you're navigating a way that I see fit, you stay over on your side. We can see each other at the cookout, nod, say what's up. But like, as far as dealing or letting people in to the inside of my sanctum, no. Like, I mean, being hobbled and having these fucking crutches, like, you really find out who shows up for you. Like, I have people who have reached out, like yourself. You know, like, you, like, honestly, it don't really take much. I give people all the length in the world because I cut people off quick. But I was like, you know, you checking up on me consistently. Like, you didn't just do it once. You hit me up at least like once a week to be like, hey, how's your leg? How are you doing? You made an effort to like nurture a relationship. I can acknowledge that, and I take note. Me personally, I'm a loyalty run person, so I note those things. Who's going? Hey, do you need a ride to the doctor because I can't legally drive right now?
Yeah.
Hey, let me bring you lunch. Let me come check on you. Like, I've had friends, and like, you know, it's the people that I've known forever, and they're like, cool. Like, as soon as you're back in the boot, like, we need to make some plans. We're gonna get you out. Like, we'll go do lunch, go do a dinner with the squad or whatever. That's family.
Yeah.
I also have family that it's like that they ain't hit me up at all. Period. And I mean, granted, I'm not publicizing like the fact that I'm injured because I think that's really weird. I don't know. It's just me. But on that same note, like, as far as like my family goes, like, we're all pretty tight knit, and like people who I didn't say shit to knew about it. So I'm like, I know everybody knows.
Right.
So I'm like,
because
yeah,
someone's going to spread that info.
right. I'm taking notes of who didn't hit me up to be like, yo, like, what's up? Like, you good? Like, okay, like, if it cool. No harm, no foul, but I'm like, that's family. Like, hey, I know you're messed up. Like, I know you could potentially need something. What's
Right.
up? Like, and so there's a difference between blood and family, and I do think that
Yeah.
family is definitely a decision. The people that you choose to show up for, that is a decision.
And I agree
Yeah.
100% with Ray saying that, because I another good friend of mine, the actual King Smith, I cannot tell you how often he checks up on me. Yeah, dude, you're good. I'm like, he knows I go through a lot with my mom and everything. But I'm not using it as a crutch, like you said,
Yeah.
Ray. But he checks up on make sure my mental health and my physical health is good, because sometimes I put that in the back burner. I realize it. So he always checks up on me. My cousin, when shit hit the fan with me and my ex, and I asked him, yo, can I crash a couple weeks at your place? He goes, no. I went, what do you mean no, dude? He goes, no, because you work at a hospital. Okay, so what? Oh, you're going to bring COVID in my house. Excuse me?
Jesus.
I went, I'm your
Wow.
cousin.
That's a wild one right there.
Yeah. And on
You
top
work at
of
a
that-
hospital, meaning you are going to take the necessary precautions to not bring it to yourself or your family.
Exactly.
Boy. Like, wait, what does he think other people are doing when they have families to return to? I mean, boy.
It was a hot mess. And on top of that, he also used an excuse because he works from home now at the time. I don't know if he does now. We haven't spoken in so long. Excuse me. Oh yeah, your mom smokes, so that's gonna affect my work. What has that anything to do with it? Like, seriously, like, I don't get how smoking but you're a smoker. You vape. So am I not processing this correctly? I know I'm a white dumb Greek kid, but I'm not that goddamn dumb. And maybe it's me. I'm not processing this correctly. So
Well,
go ahead, Sean.
in fairness, he said no, and that's just something we got to respect.
Oh, I respect it.
You
A
can,
reason,
Yeah, but the thing is, you look shady. You're just making excuses when you can just be like, no, I don't want you in my house.
well,
No,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree, but because we don't agree with the reason, we're calling them excuses. That's his reason. Whether we agree with it or not, that's his reason. We could call it an excuse, and we can safely assume it's an excuse. But why even go through
Yeah.
that, man?
Yeah.
He
So,
I
said
mean,
no.
I can accept that, but on that same note, like that's not family though.
No,
That's all I'm saying. I'm like,
that's his
okay, so you
relative.
were in a different category now. Noted. I respect your decision,
Right.
but like also, if you need me to show up for you, we not family, we associates, bro. So now my reason I have to be like, yo, like there's shit I don't do for associates.
Yeah.
Fuck around me, like.
Damn, you didn't even put him in relative. You said associate.
Oh,
Oh,
associate,
burn.
associate, bro. Like, if seriously, like, if that's the way, like, it's weird to me how people navigate, and it's probably because I'm so forthcoming with like, I'll give you the world, and then I'll just take it all away. I treat my existence, I treat it like I'm God. I'm like, I'll give you everything, and I'll take it back. Call me Chuck Norris in this bitch, but. It's weird to me that like people will see somebody going through some stuff, and it's like I have limits, and I'm like, cool, I'll be there for you. But like if you sitting on the couch depressed and like you ain't getting up, and I'm like, yo, like let's go through the problem solving steps. We're all men in here, and like you don't want to do that. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna let you stew on that couch. I'm not stewing with you, but as soon as you're ready to get up, I'm right here for you, and I'm gonna advocate for you. But like the fact that people who consider themselves close, that will call you brother, will see you going through some shit, and you be like, yo, I need a couch. They have a couch and be like, COVID, can't lay on it. Like, fuck you mean, dude? Like you don't get to say your family. We are not brothers. You an associate. Let's call it what it is. Like if I was asked out, I could go sleep on my mama's couch right now. That's family. Yeah. I don't have to agree with her. We argue. I hate the way she drives. But like, if she needed something, like if she seriously called me and was like, yo, we in the thick of it, we going to war. I'm like, cool. Let me put on my pirate leg. Who getting it? Like,
I mean, you know, you say
right.
that, and it reminds me of I was at work one night. I was like working at the I worked in law enforcement, so you know that's 24/7, right?
mm-hmm.
And I worked graveyard, and my mom calls me up because my daughter's having problems breathing. And I was like, I ran up to the dude. I was like, hey, I need your car. He was like, here.
See, they're family, bro.
You know, I came home. I set her up with a breathing treatment, and you know, I was able to come back, whatever. But I just ran it like, hey, my baby's sick. I need your car, and he was just like, here, like no second thought about it.
The only question I got behind that, was it a cop car? Then you had to turn the lights on, and you were going through red lights and everything.
No, we're both civilians.
Damn it.
Like if
I
I
would
would handed you a cop car, I'd have been like, bro, that's your best friend.
Yeah, I would totally turn the lights on, going through all the red lights. You know, I would definitely turn those on. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'm like, you, yeah, baby. So, go ahead, Sean.
You brought a point that made me want to ask you a question. You
Um,
said your mother's driving. Will you let her drive you now?
Oh yeah, she drove me to the doctor today. She cussed me out the first day when she took me in for surgery on the way to get surgery, bro. She cussed me out in the car. We got a special relationship though. But yeah, no, she just drives like an old person. And it bugs the shit out of me riding in that scenario, because I'm just like, bro, can like we go faster? Like, can you get over? Why can't you see the exits? How do you operate a metal missile? Like, who let you out here? Like, and she used to be a cop. Like, I was like, you know full damn well you shouldn't be on the road. You would arrest you back in your heyday. Like, you literally turned into the thing that you used to pull over and scream at on the way to school. Like, come on, bro.
That's hilarious.
All right, before we answer this first question, I want you guys to listen to the statement I have first. my grandmother and my mother used to say something back from where I come from, Greece, is the people who make you laugh are your enemies. The people who make you cry are your real family. Keep that in for a second. So the first question I have
That's
is,
true.
who or what do you believe the reference goes to the statement, they don't really care about us, and why?
Ooh, okay, I'm ready.
Wait, you said
Go
what?
for,
What?
whoever want to go first.
Okay,
Want me to repeat it, Bass?
And go ahead,
Yeah.
repeat it for her.
Okay, so the first question is, who or what do you believe the reference of the statement, they don't believe in us, they do not care about us, and why?
Okay.
Yeah, Ray, you
So-
can go first if you're ready.
You go
Okay,
ahead, Greg,
so
Liz.
so in regards to the they don't really care about us, I would say that black people's beholdment to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party promises them free shit. Definitely wants to make them laugh. Wants to be invited to the cookout. Will show up, pull out some hot sauce, and then write policies to lock you up forever. Make sure that you're poor forever. Steal your money. Take away all of your resources and give them to people that ain't even supposed to be in this country. And then tell you that you need to come back and vote for them again so that you can save the day. Just to go give you the rope-a-dope again so that they can get more of your replacements in here until they don't need you. They don't care about you. Now, does that necessarily mean that the opposite end of that cares about you? No, but they're telling you the truth. That no one's coming to save you. That there has to be a level of personal accountability for actions. It's 2024. You cannot blame everything that did actually happen on your decisions that you make today with the internet and the opportunities that you have. It doesn't make sense. The people who are telling you the truth, you want to shy away from because you have a complete political party that will tell you and pacify you, tell you that you're a victim, tell you that you're right in your victimhood and that it's okay, and then offer you the promise of giving you free shit that never shows up. Black people who believe in the Democratic Party being a party that's actually for them are equivalent to adults who still believe in Santa Claus. They have a mental health condition.
Nice. Sean, you're on mute.
What's interesting about what you're saying, Ray, is I believe that it has to do with both Democrats and Republicans. They both sell us pipe dreams. And they both say, things that are not. And they both sit there and tell us what they to advance themselves and their agendas. And it's funny when I hear Democrat or Republicans speaking about the other, they speak about each other the same way. And I just find it hilarious because a Democrat will say what you opposite of what you just said, and a Republican will say that about Democrats and vice versa. And me being a independent mind, I just look at them and laugh because neither one of them are correct. They both have the same tendencies and they both have a lot of the same characteristics, although they differ on policies, and that's what I kind of look at specifically. But they both will sit there, lie, manipulate, deceive, get their point across, and make you like, they care about you when they really.
Sean, can I ask you a question real quick? Can you explain to me what lie the Republican Party tells to black people to get us to vote for them?
That they're going to take care of us, that they have answers that they don't.
When did they say they were ever going to take care of us? They're the party that we all say are racist all the time because they say things that are so hurtful to the majority of black people that we just write off the things that they're saying as racist. When they say get your household together, racism.
The household together while they go ahead and agree to put money in different places that don't help your household.
But they're not putting money in different places. They are advocates against the welfare system. The welfare system is the most detrimental thing in the way that it's set up now.
And so is nepotism, which a lot of the Republicans are part of.
True, but they don't lie to us because they don't need us.
They lie.
That's what I'm getting at. They don't lie to black people. They tell us the harsh truth.
No,
they lie to poor white people. That's who they lie to.
They lie and say, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and it's no nepotism that's available, and that's a lie. There is nepotism very clearly, and they exercise it, but they deny it. That's a lie that they tell us.
So when you're talking about opportunities, when Trump put together his platinum plan, that was going to put jobs specifically in the black community for black business owners and black laborers, and we said he was racist. You're telling me that plan that he actually wrote out was a lie in comparison to the Democratic Party going, we'll get back to you after you vote for us after the election, and then they never fucking showed up.
Well, here's my scenario. Trump and why people call him racist. I lived in New York, and he literally let black people stay in his properties or get in his properties whatsoever, and that was prior to him being a politician. He also says that it's not about his personal agenda when he shows clearly that it's all about his personal agenda. And I'm not a Trump hater.
I understand. We're just having the conversation.
I like a lot of things that actually he does say that is, he exposes a lot of things that I think have been hidden in the Republic. And so I commend him for that. So I'm not specifically hating on him, but what he has done, he has a lot of selfish agendas that I disagree with specifically. That he makes it seems like he's doing it for us, not black or race, but for the people in America.
But Sean, that's how anything. The only reason you go to work right now is because you get paid, right? They're not paying you because they like your ass and they don't really want you there. You provide a service and they selfishly go, hey, we're going to say that we're taking care of you and we're a family, but get this shit done, Negro, because we need to extract the resource off your ass so that you can make this business money so that our shareholders can get paid.
And that's why I say Trump, I can, that's his mindset and I can agree with that portion, but Republicans, it's the opposite of that. They are acting they're not saying that.
They're not shoveling policies in front of black people to get their votes. Trump was the first one who put together anything for black people specifically. Now, I don't describe myself as part of the group, but he's the first Republican I've ever seen that said, hey, this is what we're going to do specifically for you guys. Because you know what? You guys need to have access to something so that we can stop this conversation about y'all being at the bottom. He posited a solution.
He said that, but he understood that will lean people towards him. We still haven't gotten it. So you could say it all you want.
He didn't get elected.
He did.
Y'all voted in Biden. How is he gonna have the opportunity to fulfill a promise that he made when y'all went, you're racist, we're gonna vote for this other guy and make things diametrically worse?
Well, you gotta realize that was part of the point that I'm making. He said it now. He's saying it because he wants our vote. Prior to getting our vote, he didn't say it. So now he's just manipulating to get what he wants. So he's putting out something to basically put in front of us and say, hey, I know what you want, because he is very keen. I will give him this. He went to the neighborhoods to find out and listen. I credit him for that. For example, his first campaign, when he won, he went to Detroit and to a lot of the people who hated him. Whereas Hillary did not.
So the question being, though, is the Democratic Party promises black people stuff that they never fulfill on, to the tune now to where they just told black men completely to just sit down and shut up last election. And now everything's worse because we voted in Biden. This isn't an anti-democratic party. This is the first presidency I've ever been under that I've noticed the numbers on my check change. That's affected me as a person. It's been so badly run.
Well,
and they promised us a bunch of shit that they didn't fulfill on. They didn't draw up any plans. They just said, "Hey, black people, we're going to take care of you because you got to save the nation from racism again." And we got nothing. He drew up an entire plan, a whole policy. Something written down on paper that's actionable, where we go, hey, start to finish, you said you were going to do this, and this. And you're taking a group of people who are literally voting on the basis that the other person is racist because the people that are fucking them told them so.
Well, Ray, this is my point.
To their own detriment, and their lives are getting worse now.
This is my point to you. I don't call it Republican and Democratic because what you just said, years old, and I voted several times, and the same promises have been said throughout all of my voting, and none of it has come to the conclusions, including while Trump was in office, including while Barack was in office, including
what didn't Trump fulfill?
He didn't fulfill anything for me.
Was your check fucked up though?
Yeah.
Was your check fucked up? Like, I'm just asking. That's an honest question. Because under all the other presidents that you listed, including Obama,
Let
who
me
who
ask.
didn't do anything for us either. My check, me as a person in the world,
Let
was
me
not
ask.
affected by the president because he's not supposed to affect the daily citizen.
Let me answer you.
Yeah.
Did my check affect it? Yes. Was it affected because of Trump? No. It was affected because we went through a pandemic that gave, and that's all. But we get clouded on the fact that he was the person in charge, which in fact, he was actually going against a lot of the things that would have helped us get even further. But it wasn't credited, but a lot of people credit it to him. And it's not, I can't give him that credit. I give the Lord that credit, if anything, before I give it to him, because the pandemic is what really caused the extra money on our checks that we have never seen before into our pockets, including the scammers that was able to enjoy those benefits, which to me, the benefits of a scammer is similar to the benefits of politics for those in those parties who have benefited from it.
Okay. No, I can rock with you on that. I'm not saying that Trump made my check better. I understood what the stimulus money was. I invested all of it, and it's probably about quadrupled by now. But that wasn't what I was talking about. What I'm saying is, like, my check is negatively affected under Biden. Negatively as a worker. And like, I'm not sitting up here. I'm the only person who tells you the truth about where I'm at financially. I'm the only person on here who will tell you straight up that I don't make six figures and I know how to work money better than most of these dudes that do make six figures sitting out here, apparently because they all broke and complaining about shit. And I'm buying assets and houses. So it's what it is. But as someone who doesn't make six figures, my check is adversely affected under this administration because it's been run so poorly. And we've never either party, it's never been this bad. Ever. It's a party that ran on an emotional plea that the other guy was racist.
Well, that's all.
That's what they ran on. They gave you nothing. They gave nothing. They made no promises. They put nothing in writing. There was nothing tangible that you could look at and be like, if we win, you're going to get this, 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 and this. They said the entire campaign was, black folks, Proud Boys are going to come get you if you vote for Trump. That's what they said.
Well, the thing is, if Trump didn't co-sign the Proud Boys, he wouldn't have had that opportunity to say that.
The Proud Boys weren't racist, just so you know.
Proud Boys are very racist, just so you know.
You do realize that during the heat of BLM, one of my best friends, I've got pictures on my social media, was a out and proud, regalia and everything, tattooed Proud Boys. I've been to Proud Boy meetings.
That's one person.
No, that's one chapter, but all the chapters had the same rule set. Like, I've seen the guidelines for it. They kick people out for that.
Okay, but the whole
thing, you don't know. I do.
The thing is that you're weighing.
How many Proud Boys do you know personally?
Again, you're weighing it on your personal opinions.
So you're telling me that out of an organization that we were told was going to round up niggas writ large, that I just happened to find every single non-racist one between two fucking states? This is great. I love this. No, keep going, Sean.
I wasn't told that. I heard that from them.
You heard it from the Power Boys. They said we racist.
No, I heard it from the Power Boy from when they were stating their position on how they felt about the country and what they wanted for the country.
They didn't want people running through their communities, burning down businesses. That they didn't think that it was okay because you're protesting to just start destroying shit. You do realize that the leader of the Proud Boys is darker than I am, right? Okay. Before he got arrested.
And so
the person who made the organization is blacker than me.
Okay, but
I just want you to know that.
Does that mean?
Okay, I'm just saying, like, look, it's in their bylaws. They literally kick people out for that. I'm just saying, like, what you heard and their stance, you just didn't like it. Again, this goes back to exactly what he just said. The person who tells you the harsh truth might actually give more of a fuck about you than the person who tells you it's okay for you to be a victim and tear your fucking neighborhoods up so you have no resources so that you can then come back and complain about the resources that you set on fire and broke not returning to your area.
Let me ask you this. What did the Proud Boys do to help out the situation?
Well, originally they went down to protect buildings and
what
infrastructural things.
Protect building. What did they? us as a people. But black people that we sitting there advocating for, what did they do for us?
Dude, nobody owes you shit. What are they supposed to do? Okay, so if you live in a city, you're saying that because I don't want you to tear my shit up, that I have to do something for your ass.
Well, let's go,
you feel you are owed something from me.
back to nobody.
No, I mean the logic on that doesn't make sense. If these people are existing in cities and they're going, hey, people are upset, they're tearing shit up. I don't want them tearing shit up in my city because we had this interaction here in Kansas City because I went to the protests here on the opposite side. But I'll tell you what, I had to go fight Antifa over it because they wanted to tear our shit up in Kansas City. We don't do that shit.
Let's go back to nobody owes you shit.
Right.
Why do you think?
Because it's 2024. Tell me what cotton field you were in.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell
Which
you.
one? Take me there.
Let me. Yeah, it's not about what cotton fields I was in. It's about the cotton fields of who my family was in.
Okay.
So what do you? Let's start there. Nobody owes you shit.
Fair enough.
Was somebody who owned the cotton field in the cotton field?
No, actually, it was somebody who owned your parents was more or less the issue. But like, you don't want to have that conversation with me.
So what they? Yeah, actually, we can have it. No problem.
Well, no,
because I mean, a quick question before we move on.
Huh?
I want to ask Sean a question before we move on, because you mentioned the whole cotton field thing. Can you trace your ancestry all the way back down there? And I'm just not trying to be a dick or a racist or anything like that. I'm just asking a serious question.
Can I trace my ancestors to slavery? Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. I apologize if I offended you.
So, no. That's actually a really good question. To be honest, I've got a buddy of mine. His family has that lineage too. Like they know who owned them.
We're only 2 generations in.
Huh?
So we're only 2 generations that is separated. Now, can everybody go back further than 2 generations? Maybe not. Can I? Yes. But the point being is that we're not that far removed from it.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm saying in 2024, this is the deal. We can, if they were to give reparations, cool, I'm taking the money, whatever. I would love for them to do it so that we could stop having this conversation, so that we could take away these dumbass excuses, so that you guys could just realize that, like, hey, if that's the crutch the hill that you're trying to die on was something happened to you, and that's why you make stupid decisions in 2024, and the best time to be alive in the best country to be alive, you have the. Not only that, it's a country you're not trapped in. You have the ability to fucking leave. I would love for reparations so that we could just go, hey, I'm just a fucking loser. Like I would really like that.
Yeah, you don't have the ability to leave. It takes finances. They're not sending people away.
100%. It only takes how much does it cost to live anywhere else?
What does it cost for a ticket to get there?
So you saying you can't save up? If you can't save up $1,000, you a loser, bro. Like that's a problem. Like that's a fucking problem.
It don't cost $1,000,
dude. You can get one-way flight for $1,000, guaranteed. Okay. I travel, dude. Like yes, you can. I can show you. Like what are you talking about? You're acting like it costs $1 million to get a plane flight out of here. That is a lie, sir.
What are we talking about?
So you're not trapped here.
No, wait. First off, let's go back to. Are we? Can we just leave?
Yeah,
I'm already. But you know that's not always.
Well, if you can't, that'd be like saying we can't all be rich. Like if you don't want it, you don't want it.
I didn't ask why though. You're giving me reasons why.
Right.
There's a lot of reasons.
I understand that, but not everybody. People say, "Oh, well, I can't be rich either," and it's like you're just not willing to sacrifice what the people that are sacrificing that are doing better than you, or learn the skills necessary to navigate financially because you're financially illiterate, most likely if you're broke.
Okay. And
to be able to navigate those waters, you don't want to do the work, but you don't get to say, I don't want to do what people are doing that are getting results that I am not. So therefore it's just impossible. And like, now there's something holding me back. Like you're holding you back in 2024.
How are you going to say we don't want to do the work in 2024 when a lot of the work does it take work to go ahead and be a criminal? Does that work?
100%. It's real hard work.
So does it take work to to maneuver, not to compromise the system, whether it's the welfare system or whether it's any. Does it take work to do that?
Yep.
Okay, so why are you saying people don't want to work? They just
because they value doing things the wrong way because it's advocating what we push to the front and make excuses for. That's why.
Value doing things differently. And you're right, it can be looked at as excuses the same way I can sit there and say those who are privileged that are doing it the quote unquote right way are sitting there not really putting in any work themselves.
How?
Because nepotism, I just gave you that example.
No, I want you to give me an example and we'll use myself. I've been on my own since 16.
Well, all right, hang on. Before we move on, I want to give Trey a shout out. Welcome to Pound Butt, man.
Oh, shout out, Trey. What's going on? Yes, sir. Loud and clear, Trey.
Is very anecdotal, and I agree. People do have I have made money. I get it, but I can't sit there and say that because I made money and I went in a path of directing my energy in a place that helped me get the money, that I am above someone who is doing it. It's kind of like a musician versus a doctor. I can't sit there and say a doctor because he went to school is more is a harder worker than a musician who paid the same amount of time and energy into one craft that was more interesting to them than the doctor who paid it because he wanted to get paid. So I can't.
Okay, so I would say within every society and every system there are hierarchies. They exist for a reason. It's so that we all know where we are. Now, while you are correct in the amount of effort, I would never say that, because I think criminals are very ingenuitive. They're just focused in the wrong direction. So I can agree with you on that. But in a hierarchy standpoint, they are detriments to society. They harm the collective. So no, look, in a hierarchy, I do not sit there and go, hey, you're a genius drug dealer. You a kingpin. Like you've set up an entire organization. Like you would be a dope CEO, but you're a kingpin. You are still a piece of shit, and you are a detriment to society.
We did it with Trump. We did it with the Kennedys. We do it with George Bush. What are you talking about? We don't do that.
What drugs did George Bush sell to the community?
Criminalistic ways, and have done things illegally, or each and every one of them, from the Bushes to the Kennedys to now Donald Trump. Can we agree to that?
Donald Trump is on trial for the most petty shit I've ever heard of. They're mad that he paid a sex worker to shut up.
I agree with you.
And then, technically speaking, she is in the wrong because she took the money and then didn't shut the fuck up. Like, how is this a conversation?
What I'm talking about as far as his illegal scenarios.
What is it worse than having crack pipes in the White House because your son's a crackhead that's compromised the country's security by working for the enemies? Is it worse than that, my friend? Is it though? Is it? Because Trump didn't have no crack in the White House. He didn't have a crackhead son in the White House.
He had crack. He had crack in the White House.
Oh, okay, fair enough. They've been in there since forever, since we built it. But
so, which one is worse?
He had what?
No offense to any of my white brothers, by the way. I'm like I would call it a brother, a nigga who's derogatory, who's detrimental to our people. I would say the same as cracker. That's how I'm using it. No offense to my white brothers, but the point being is that yes, crack and compromising the power and privileges that you have. Yes, Biden's son can be accused and guilty of that, but
and his administration is allowing fentanyl to flood into our system now with our open fucking border.
Again, I understand that
there's more fentanyl coming in now than there ever has been prior to this administration.
Let me ask you guys a quick question, and so we get back on topic.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you guys good. You're good. I don't care if you guys you want to go at it. I'm cool with that. But do you guys both agree? Both parties, they're both not the greatest choice when we had
100%. We have too many people for the lack of representation that we have, and that's actually the real issue. And I'm like Sean says that he's an independent thinker. I am very much an independent thinker. I actually look at the policies and look at the results because I come from an applied behavior analysis background. That's what I do, is curtailing behavior. So everything that I look at, I don't argue. Like if I'm going to lock horns with you, best believe that it's coming from actually a scientific perspective, because that's what I did. Like, we made children act right by curtailing behavior. They do the exact same thing. Both of our parties do the exact same thing. They have people that do those jobs in companies. That's how they get you to buy more shit. They have it in these parties. That's how come they know they can run, and the Democrats can just go, hey, what's going to really reinforce black people to do the behavior we want? Tell them this motherfucker's racist.
And
Get them emotional, and then they'll follow orders. Y'all, like, it's such a base level play that they're playing, and both parties play it. But when we talk about the Republicans, they are not playing it with black people, because so few black people actually vote for them that we're not even a consideration, because they can win without us. Literally. So they don't care. So when they say stuff, and you can tell by the response, because when they go, sorry, Sean.
Highly true, because they it's been proven in the last election that they can't win without us. So what you just said is not true.
Yeah, but they lost the female vote, though. That was part of the issue. Okay. They didn't just, it wasn't just, we're 14% of the population, sir, spread out across the entire country. 14%. So 14%, if every white person said we're going to be in lockstep, we couldn't get shit passed if we wanted to. That's the first misnomer that they lie to us about. We are coalesced in specific places where they can target, and they also have made the Electoral College in a fashion to where those specific places where we coalesce just so happen to get more electoral votes than everybody else, which is also fucked up.
That I agree.
But to what he was saying was the amount of population that we have no options, no viable ones. We have two, and they're both doing the same thing. They're presenting how they're doing it differently, and specifically in the nuance of how they affect certain communities. Some of them are worse than others. But like, if you look at Europe, if you look at Britain specifically, they have 5 fucking parties, and they have way less people than we do. Way less. They have 5 viable options. There's no way that you're going to have 2 parties in a system with this many people that actually speaks to the actual constituents that are voting for them. Like, it's literally impossible mathematically that they're going to go, yeah, out of this big lump sum of people, they only need 2 options.
And like, Ray, I completely agree, and we're in agreement there. But the irony of what you just said, though, earlier on, that I found funny is when you said fentanyl right after you used the word crack. And the same scenario, the scenario that happened with crack is happening with fentanyl. So why should I care about the difference?
Well, because you're an American. They should have cared about crack. I mean, the reality of here, to what you just said, the reality of it is everything that they've done to our community, because we are Americans, has permeated into their communities as well. They shot themselves in the foot, and now you've got a party running rampant, bringing in replacements for all of us. And now it's either we get together or this shit's over, bro. Like, I as an American, you should care, because fentanyl is not going to poor white people. They're attacking our future leadership. They're attacking rich white people.
Again, what the point being is that the irony of what you're saying is that you're using examples that are just repeated scenario. You just use fentanyl, crack. You just said immigrants been country way before any of this time.
At the amount that they've been coming under this administration, no, they have not. That is a lie.
The amount is insignificant. They didn't have to come.
Not insignificant. All right, let's get back on topic here.
All
right,
Sean don't care about us, bro. He don't care.
Yeah. You know what? I should have a special show between you and Ray called, I don't know, the Peacock
we can't agree on
Reckless section or something like that, and have you guys have a full day on your own. I might create a channel for a day for you guys.
I guess let me just end here. The agenda is the same. The methods and the tools that are available is the different, but the agenda is the same. We're talking about the numbers. It's the same agenda, and the agenda is to lean one party or the other in order to do whatever the party in control, and that's really what it's about: controlling the government and what they want to do. So we'll leave it. I'll leave it there.
All right, so let me get to the next question because I think this is one went too long. I expected. The next question, I'm gonna start with Trey with this one. Is the question is we're talking about they don't really care about us, and the question I have for you is what action or behavior leads to believe in they don't care about us.
Well, I ain't gonna go down the whole list of 200 items, but I'll just highlight, play the Michael Jackson song. Get that song out. Get that song.
I don't want to get copyright strike today.
Let's let that. Okay, so that's so this is probably will be our living legacy as a nation of colored people and so-called the lower class in America. We fight this dynamic on a daily basis, and you can break it up and compartmentalize it also even within our own race and community. However, Ray touched on something that I've been looking at for a while. I've been saying in this capacity, if we don't find a way to somehow unify in some capacity, the replacements are coming. They let you know they don't care about you. They coming. They taking your Section 8, your food stamps, all your public housing, all your resources. They giving it away. They're even looking, and they used to say this years ago. Generation X, we might not even get no Social Security. You know why? Because they're now in this time, they giving it away in real time. So in 10, 15 years, it might not be nothing for people who are on their job, coming up on their 15-year anniversary on the job, looking to retire in 5 to 10 years. They're going to get out there and ain't going to be shit for them. They're going to be standing in the handout line, in the food pantry line. And this is just where we are.
Crazy. That's crazy because they take money out for our damn retirement.
But Bass, it's playing right into where we are. It's playing right into these conversations everybody's having of us being so divided on nuanced fucking issues. We can't get together because you said something to hurt my feelings. We can't get together because it's a generation that seems like they don't even want to put in the work. And that's what, and they got to understand that Social Security pays itself forward. You think you can go from 21 to 41 and not put in them years? Because when they pull that shit up off your Social Security, they're going to tell you how many years you worked, when you didn't work, when you got a raise, what your salary was, how much taxes you pay. And they're going to tell you right there, sir, ma'am, you're eligible for $350 a month. Take it or leave it. Well, that's not right. So,
what's interesting? And I'm going to ask y'all to kind of ponder this thought.
Thank you for cutting me off, brother. Appreciate you.
I apologize. Go ahead.
No, listen, I'll finish with this. Listen, grooming.
Before anybody goes, Trey, I have a question for you. A serious question. All right. Are you happy you can use green screen now?
I'm elated. Yes. I'm elated. Yes. I'm gonna continue to
there floating around and shit.
When he was the head from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that was the best episode ever, bro.
Look, grooming. Really quick, inside joke to you. I'm gonna continue to show you how to use OBS, sir.
But who's teaching you to use it better than it? You remember that?
But that's what I'm saying. It was an inside joke. Thanks to you. You put me on this path, and I appreciate it. No, but listen, just that alone, that question alone, is a question that we can talk about, but we have to live opposite of that question as a group. The young and the old, the light skin, the dark skin, because now we're starting to color and shit. Now, this say what it is. We all go get our neck stumped on if we don't find a way to move the needle forward. Our future's at stake. And unless we find one voice, believe me, it's going to get worse. And it's going to go fast as hell with gasoline draws on. So I'm done.
Yep.
Did you say gasoline draws?
Oh yeah,
Gasoline draws.
I'm stealing that.
It's shit's going too fast. Set a match to that shit. Everybody's ass is burning. But this is where we are now, and that's what scares me, that people don't see the picture. The immigrants are not coming here just to walk around and ask for handouts. They're going into these factories because, remember, Clinton took all the businesses out of the country, and now they're coming back for a reason. They're not coming back for Saprita with the nails and the wig. They're not coming back for Ray Ray with the pants sagging. You're going to have to figure out a way to get your ass in there and pull your britches up and get to work with your hands.
Yep.
We can't be entrepreneurs on YouTube. We don't own nothing about YouTube.
Facts.
We just get on here and
Facts.
talk. So what we going to do? We got to figure it out.
I'm glad you said that leads
They're
into
taking. Oh, I was just gonna say real quick that they're even taking your jobs. I mean, they're working on. I forgot what company it was, but they're working on making self-driven 18-wheelers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about 3 years.
Like forget the damn Amazon shit, whatever, in the pizza delivery car. 18-wheelers? That's a killer on the road.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
they don't really care about us.
well,
Don't get the copies right there, dude.
they don't,
bro.
I can sing it.
No, please don't. Please don't. I'm gonna.
He said, please don't say it.
They don't really care about us.
Oh my god! But I mean,
Slap me.
Trey's right. Like, and the thing is, they're coming over here to eat our lunch. Like, they already have a negative out view of Americans, period, because we are lazy. Like, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and I mean, we're all older up here. I'm an OG now, you know what I'm saying? Big 4-0. What's up? You know what I'm saying? But
Baby OG.
mine was the last, like, my family, I think, after my family, bro, none of the rest of my cousins or anybody got taught you got to work twice as hard to get half the respect. Like, none of them did that. None of them got that conversation at all.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And they're living it out. And like a buddy of mine, he's older as well, made a post about it. And we got into a whole argument. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, in 2024, we don't have to work half as hard. We do work twice as hard. And I was like, I don't know about you personally, but I've worked with immigrants. I work so hard that I'm competing with them. And they're like, every job that I've had where I've worked with Latin Americans, they've refused to acknowledge the fact that I'm black. And then they refuse to believe that I'm an American. Like, they're just like, they'll straight up tell you, they'll be like, no, you're not black. You work too hard. Like, you're not black. They're like, you're not even an American. Like, you got to be from somewhere else. You need to do your 23andMe. You're not from here. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you work too hard.
What is this? What is that supposed to even be? Like, is that supposed to be a compliment or something? What the?
Well, what's interesting, there's a lot of truth to everything that's being said. But I'll go back to the question is, we just finished, it's laborers versus owners. You just finished saying we can't do nothing on YouTube, but guess what? We can't do nothing in this country. Only thing that has happening, it used to be laborer versus owner. The laborers were slaves and the owners were the owners. And then it went into and the laborers became the men who got the black slave men who got now the ability to work, and the owners were still the owners. Then it became the women came in, the black women, white women, and now they became the laborers, because guess what? Each and every time when it was a problem, it's because the laborers rebelled against the owners. In each case, the slavery's laborers rebelled. They had to fold down and give them freedom. Okay, now then the females rebelled and they had to give them freedom. And now they're rebelling, and here come the immigrants who are going to work. So basically, they don't really care. They just mix and matching the different people in that position. And we are acting as if because we had some of the privilege of being in that position, like we became owners, and we didn't.
No,
and
well, you're saying that you can't own anything in this country?
No, I didn't say. Now, I'm saying limitedly we own, but I'm not talking about the rich. I'm talking about the wealthy. We are not in a position, and many of us are not in a position to call ourselves wealthy. We can be rich. We can sit there and say that we have, now we work hard, but ain't none of us wealthy. And
So
But brother, it's not about being wealthy though, because as a collective,
yeah,
don't you listen?
It
Hold
is.
on. Time out. Let me finish. As a collective for women, they spend $1.7 trillion on cosmetics. $1.7 trillion.
Okay.
We spend over almost $1 trillion on video games that we playing, that we buying and playing. We ain't no listen. We gotta listen. I believe the young minds are bright enough, as they say, because they used to say the younger generation was smarter. But I have to flip a coin on that shit because they can't make it. Listen, with all of this new advanced everything, these opportunities, the youngest of us have to step into these spaces. Not an old ass, gray ass dude like me. It needs to be a young dude. The strongest dude in the neighborhood need to go and build and fix every damn thing in the neighborhood. Bring along your friends. It's gonna take the strongest of us, not us old ass people. Because every time we listen, man. I don't know, man.
Trey, let me get in. Because Sean, I think you're gonna like this. To Sean's point, I'm gonna jump into the victim Olympics here a little bit. The reasoning behind the situation that we're in is, and I'm gonna be blunt about this. Niggas don't know how money works. They don't know how infrastructure works, and we produce fucking nothing. Every conversation is about somebody going with their hand out to another job that somebody else built, that somebody else took the risk to set up, that somebody else figured out how to get put together. We do not go into fields where we own anything. We're always talking about jobs. Go get the bag. Go do this. Oh, we got to go get in STEM. Not we got to go get in STEM so that we can develop our own STEM companies. But we got to go get in STEM so we can go work at a white man's place and complain about him paying us. That's the actual problem. Not only that, we don't know how fucking money works. So we just get money in and build nothing with it. And every generation, we are starting back over from zero, talking about generational wealth and know nothing of how that works, nor do we want to do the hard things that are required and make the sacrifices that are required to actually build empires. We like to talk about building empires, but none of y'all are sacrificing shit. Period. You guys are replicating the same terrible results over and over again, going, oh, let the kids do what they want. Like, no, you don't get to do what you fucking want. You got 3 paths that you get to choose from, and you're going to do them fucking well. Otherwise, you can do this shit on your own.
Absolutely.
We dump resources into fixing the most fucked up in our culture because we have this savior complex that we got to go save everyone before we put our oxygen mask on in the plane. And we are unwilling to let the losers die out. Those are our problems, and they're systemic problems because every time these historically have happened, every time we set something up, they went through and they clipped the people that built it. They didn't go through their ramsack and killing the whole town. They killed the people that set the shit up. So we lost knowledge multiple generations and multiple times through multiple townships. You killed off the people that knew shit. Now in 2024, that is no longer an excuse.
I agree.
The board that we are on is the board that we are on. You can look around, you can get online, you can get on here and not watch Fight Club. You can get on here and not go sit in and listen to fruitless conversations to numb your fucking mind. And you can tap in and figure out how to start setting up things that you actually have some semblance of ownership in so that you can control the narrative instead of asking people to tolerate your bullshit. Because once you own a business, you'll realize how much bullshit people are tolerating. That's the first thing. But then we can also start moving the needle forward because we can go, hey, and this is a hypothetical solution within your family. Skill sharing. My aunt is a VP for a company that's here in town, a big medical company. She came up through nursing. Her kids, they work in hospital field or they're the younger ones, or she's grooming them to be nurses. She is going to replicate that skill set. Now, if you get an entrepreneurial person in there as well, you should not be getting out of a household, especially in a Black community, and if you're going to college, you need to be going for STEM or something that's going to pay back the loan expeditiously. And you should have a skill outside of, I just went to high school and they taught me what they taught me and I passed the test, so now I'm in college and I got $100,000 in debt getting a basket weaving degree. These kids should be leaving leaving the house when they graduate. If they're going to leave the house, they should leave the house with an endowment from within the family from fucking somebody who's got their shit together. And it's not hard. I'm doing it starting with my cousin's kid. In my index, I have a portfolio. She gets 1 share a year. That baby's getting 1 share a year out of me. Or not 1 share a year, 1 share a month until she's 18. And when she turns 10, she's coming under my wing and she's going to learn how to manage that fucking portfolio. So that way, when she graduates, at minimum, she knows how to manage money. At minimum, she knows how to manage a portfolio. Not only that, she's going to have an actual portfolio. And that's 1 share a month. It's not fucking hard, people.
And Ray,
but y'all ain't trying to sacrifice for anyone but your kids.
Ray, only thing that I will push back on is you continuously saying it's not that fucking hard.
It's not. These are decisions. I choose what I do with my money. I don't make 6 figures. If my broke ass can do it,
I don't dispute it's hard. I don't think anything is hard personally. But the point I'm making is that the reason why I say I push back on that wording is because while it's not hard, I agree as far as the actual action. The hard is helping people understand and trust, because really that's really our biggest issue is trust. And if we go back to a lot of the systemic mind conditioning, that's where it lies. Divide and conquer, and so that they don't trust one another. And that is full-fledged what's going on, including talking about earlier with the politics between the Democrats and Republicans. They understand it very clearly. So the point I'm making is that the difference in mentality, that it's not hard, but it's a hard thing to embrace, is stop hustler versus a businessman. A hustler thinks short-term, a businessman thinks long-term. And I think we have too many hustler-minded folks in America. I won't even just say in our community. In America, the hustle mentality is too prevalent than the mentality. And I think it's designed that way by the wealthy, because the wealthy does not want any of the rebellions that have happened against the laborers versus the owners. And I say the wealthy are the owners. The laborers are rich. And so they don't want to put in position. And to your point, it's not about the strongest, because that's the first person they take out. It's the strongest. So you got to actually maneuver a little differently, because they recognize the strongest. They recognize the folks who will be the rebellious laborers or who are trying to be owners, and they will nix it immediately, because they understand that's the division, that's the conquering that's necessary in order to perpetuate and propel the continuance of the unbalanced wealthy versus.
Look, Sean. In 2024, the only way they nix that is the fact that they are actually. It's not even a they. It's us. We nix it because they'll go, "Hey, we're not gonna." It's the same reason that Team Fatty got a Grace channel. It's literal brain cotton candy. There's no substance. You get nothing out of it. It's just entertaining, and it's mind-numbing information that actually does no one any good. But y'all will go over there and you'll push him to the forefront. Y'all don't want to come over here and support channels like this that are having real conversations outside of us. People do not want to do that, because not thinking is easy, because failure in this country does not equate to death. As bad as you want to make it sound, you can go be homeless and live outside. They will give you food. They'll keep you alive. And that's the reason when immigrants come here, they eat our lunch and they view us as lazy, because we live in such a sheltered society that you can just be a complete fucking loser here, and it's not a problem. It's actually not a problem, which is why people will go blow their money while they're broke, giving fatty super chats, and want to listen to nonsensical conversations over on that channel and hear people argue and have chaos and not actually be building anything. I mean, like, obviously we're going at each other, but it's like we're arguing. It's a bunch of winners over here arguing on the context of fucking winning and positing solutions. Like, these are good arguments because you can listen to it. Sean, you got good points. Trey has good points. Grooming has good points. BAS has good points. So you can actually divine from that and be like, hey, there's a bunch of different options on how we can sort this out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we're
and Brother
arguing in the
Sean-
same direction, at least.
Right.
I
Brother
agree.
Sean, I'm gonna push back on you. You used two words earlier. Well, you used a few words. You said businessman and hustler. Let me tell you something. Shout out to the fucking hustlers.
Thank
The
you.
correct term is fucking businessman and scammer, because that's the mindset that they in. Everybody's trying to scam instead of getting their ass out there and hustling. That's the thing.
Now,
Granddaddy
I
hustle.
gotta jump in here now, Trey.
Great-
Hang on a second, guys.
Grandfathers hustle. They
to your
hustle
point,
to make the job done.
Trey,
That's all.
you respect the host. Let Grumman in. Let Grumman in. It's his show.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you guys good. So I want to feedback on that really fast from personal experience. I was terminated twice for being profiled. That's all I can say at the moment.
What?
Yes, I'm Greek. Versus
They be profiling Greek people?
Oh God, fucking yeah.
What?
That is so legit. I'm not even joking, bro.
Oh my God.
Don't
dude.
forget, I'm
All
a
the
white
people
Greek
I
guy
know
with
are
a long
dope as
fucking
fuck.
beard
Who
and
profiled
tattooed.
y'all?
And Greek guy to talk to black people. So yeah, you profile.
You asshole.
You hang out with us. That's why they profile.
But the hustling part, that one I want to paint, it doesn't make you a bad person for hustling. I was out of work. I was fucking driving Uber in my brand new car and doing what I need to get, bread on the fucking table and a roof over my fucking head. You being a hustler, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You're just busting your fucking ass and doing the right fucking thing for your fucking family. I'm going to say fuck one more time because I had to get out of my system. Go ahead, Sean.
Because here's the issue that often happens with us
I'm just making
collectively,
fun of them.
is that we argue over wording because I'm using it and the context that you using it both exist.
Different. Yeah.
The hustler that I'm speaking to is the scammer. The hustler is the one who's trying to cut the corners. The hustler that you're speaking to is the terminology as far as hard work, being able to hustle. And I agree that they both exist, but because we didn't recognize the context or identify the context, we're sitting there debating about it.
No, brother. See, I'm Gen X, man. I'm Gen X, and I understand. I'm not debating about. I was really poking fun of the fact that you use it because today they scamming. They ain't hustling. They hustling to scam you.
I'm gonna give you a great example, Trey. During COVID, I knew two people in my kitchen. They were hustling PlayStation 5s because they had a connection. They were selling for $8,000 to $1,000 a pop. The digital version, not even a disc version. I'm like, shit. I went to him like, yo, we work together. Like, you hook me up and I'll pay you, whatever, straight. Like, no, I gotta make a profit. I gotta at least get like a 9 bricks out of you. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, seriously, you work with me. I'm not paying you double what it's cost. Like, I'll wait. I waited a whole fucking year before I got my PS5. But seriously, they were hustling PS5s. Shit.
And the point that I'm making is that often we have a lot of division simply because of context. Context matters. And we don't take the time to really get to the context. Not in this conversation. I know we were going back and forth, so I'm not speaking. But often we have a lot of real conflict because of context and just the simple misunderstanding of the context. And this is a small example of a wider issue.
And I think it's a good point to talk about. And I think what makes us different. I'm not talking about people are not they're in the chats. I'm not talking about who is actually on camera. I'm talking about people who are not even speaking up. They're too scared to speak up. Us who we have a word, a platform, or people in my chats, a couple of my friends, some of them I don't know, whoever you are. If you speaking up, you're doing the right thing. You're trying to make a difference. End of story. If you have something, please, anybody want to say something, floors are yours if you think I'm wrong.
I mean, when I was working in the law enforcement and stuff like that, there was this woman who, let's see, she first started in my sister's department, and so she was a sergeant over there, and then came to my department as a lieutenant, and she was rude as fuck. Like, she was disrespectful, like the way she talks to you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And she came at me wrong one time when I was trying to figure out how to get to work, like how to because I was off because of my injuries from the car accident. And so I was trying to figure out, if I work at this station, would it be better for me or just stay at home? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure it out with my sergeant.
Mhm.
And he didn't want to work with me. The one that was on the phone with me, he didn't want to work with me. And so I was saying, I'm not coming. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't do that. Watch me. If I'm going to be in pain and you don't want me, you know, people who don't be working the desk, they always talk like they know shit. They don't know shit.
See, I got a story behind that. Also, when you're done, I got a story.
So basically, he called the lieutenant and told her whatever, and she's like calling me. You got to go into work. No, I don't. I'm not doing it. But she was just disrespectful, right? Mm-hmm. And so I end up filing a report on her, and then I find out that her record's clean. I was like, well, she's getting written up today. She is disrespectful to everybody. Okay, like it wasn't just like my sister had told me stories about her in other people's departments. And that's just, people would just take it, and I wasn't the one. So she now has one, scratch against her here on her report, whatever. But yeah, everybody was afraid to do it. Like somebody's got to do it though, because you're not gonna have a situation after me and they not report it, or they don't want to report it because no one else reported you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, no, you can have a record now. Shit, fuck you.
Say, get this record.
Honestly, right? Like, listen, end of the day, you did the right thing reporting it, because that's the biggest problem. People don't speak up. And when they do speak up, it's too late usually. And they usually do something happens, lose the job, whatever the case. And I'll give you a great example when it comes close to that. And you're going to look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I know you guys are going to say that. So I had kidney stones, 9.5 mils. So one day I'm cooking, doing breakfast, doing my thing, whatever. Like, all of a sudden, I'm feeling this weird pain in my groin area. I'm like, the fuck is going on? I go up to my chef. I go, listen, I got to run to the bathroom really fast. I go, yeah, I got you. I pissed blood. And when I say I pissed blood, it was like a stream of blood coming out of my goddamn dick. Oh. Yeah. So I go to my chef. I go, dude, I got to go to the ER. I'm pissing blood. He goes to me, you're going to have to wait for your relief. I'm too fucking busy. I'm like, but
were you like, I got the A's, bitch.
I'm pissing blood, dude. So guy comes in, I go in there
screaming, bro.
But by the time I get down to the ER, I'm in so much pain. They looked at me like, how'd you walk down here from the kitchen to the ER? I'm like, simple. I put one foot in front of the other. I'm being a smart ass this point. She goes, no, most people won't walk through this pain you're in. I'm like, I don't know. Like, they put me with morphine, like, feeling good, like, yo, can I get some seconds here, please?
Oh my god!
So the doctor goes, go home, take 2 days off. My chef was pissed. He goes, you cannot take off. Like, oh well, I'm taking off. Like, according to this note, I cannot be in the kitchen for 2 days. So
you went from a laborer to the mind of an owner in that quick sentence. And at today's point, I wish we all could start thinking from the mindset of an owner as opposed to a laborer, because at that point, he wanted to be a laborer, and you was like, you took the ownership of your state of being, and you said, "Fuck you." And that's what a lot of us laborers need to do, whether it's literally or whether it's mentally or whether it's a combination of the two. Unfortunately, we don't even recognize the difference that we are laborers, or we are possibly rich, but we're not nowhere near wealthy.
That's only half the story, Sean. I'm not even done with it yet. So a week later,
that hurt me. Yeah. I had to leave after.
Yeah, a week later, like, I thought I passed at this point. I didn't know how big it was. So middle of my lunch shift, I know it was on a Wednesday. All of a sudden, I collapse, rocks. I'm like, it's like somebody took a bat, hit my kidneys. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, I think I pulled something. I'm not thinking. I'm like, So I go to the bathroom. I'm like, motherfucker, not again. So
Bruh.
I'm on my knees at this point. Like I couldn't even walk out of there. I literally crawled down to the yard. Goes, yeah, you got another kid's home. It's very common to get two. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm going to a specialist. I go down to the specialist. He goes, he didn't even put me in his office. He didn't put me in his waiting room. He puts me in his personal office. He goes, comes in, throws the paperwork, crosses his legs, something like this. He goes, well, you got a big stone in you, buddy. I'm like, gee, thanks. And it's something I don't know yet. He goes, 9.5 mils. I went, I have a bullet in me. He goes, pretty much. So that was a
the
Thursday.
average size?
I'm sorry?
They're like
What's the normal,
microscopic.
like the average size?
Average size is about 2.5 to 3. You can pass anything 3. Anything over 3 and going to the 4s, to the 5s, sketchy. But when you're going over to 6 or 7, even to 9, you're going to rip your dick in pieces.
Oh,
I want to have a dick.
dude.
Yeah.
Let me tell you fast. I had a kidney stone, right? And it was the most amazing lesson that I've ever learned.
You gave birth.
This, I literally about a pebble or a grain of sand. When it passed through me, that little tiny thing disrupted my whole bodily functions. Literally. Like he described, on the ground, crippled down, crying, but not because I wanted to cry, because tears of my body didn't know how to let the pain
Your
out.
body squeezed out the moisture into your eyes.
Bro.
Literally, you know,
Yeah.
because when I first got it, it was sweating because
Yeah.
my body was released. Literally, it was tears because my body was trying to release while I was still trying to hold on mentally. So the point being is that it was smaller. I didn't have a big stone like him. It was smaller than a pebble. The size, and that thing collapsed. That little, if you see it pass through and you get it in a strainer, you can't even really see it without looking at it. That's how small it was. But the little thing disrupted my whole functionality, literally, physically, mentally, and everything else.
Oh, it screws you up, baby. Like the first thing I was with my ex at the time. My ex goes, well, what does it mean her, sexual, or sex life? Like, honestly, right now that he has his rock in it, we recommend it. Like, what do you mean? Like, ejaculation helps to push it out. She goes, I'm gonna be taking it out of me. And she goes, well, that's your problem, doctor. Goes to her.
Bro, you shoot a kidney stone into her, and now she's got a kidney stone, bro.
Yeah. Literally, and I'll give your wife a credit. She says that you couldn't be a woman. Oh no, fuck that! I don't want to be a woman. I'm good. One time is good enough for me. I will pass. Oh, you want? I am straight. So let's get to the next question. We already talked about my bladder and my giving birth here. So let's skip the birth part. So, what do you guys think? Where the behavior comes from when people say they don't care about me, weepy woo wah wah, to cry anything? Versus, you know what? Fuck them. I'm gonna be a man. I don't give a shit nobody cares about me. I'm gonna do the right thing. So, Ray, I'll let you go first. I know you're ready, warmed up.
It's for me. The way that I look at it is, it's a mindset thing, and I think it's a culture of how you were raised. So I've said multiple times, I come from a household with a single mother. Generations of single mothers. Like my grandmother was divorced. They never officially got divorced, but they were separated, my grandmother and grandfather. So I only saw them on holidays. But it wasn't a household where men were disrespected. Men were always held as men. And there was one rule: you're not allowed to be weak. Now, the way they implemented this probably wasn't the best, but they made me, and I'm a pretty strong motherfucker. So it's what it is. But that mindset, I was never indoctrinated into a belief or a knowledge of racism. They let me figure out everything for myself, and then we had conversations as needed. And I was also never taught to be afraid of fucking anything that walks on 2 feet. So I've done taking the brakes off some white boys. Like, so I don't look at them as anything but another motherfucker that's on this planet with me. I don't see them as better. I'm like, I know you bleed. I know you do. And I know I'm capable of producing that if I'm not getting the results that I want. And I've always been like that. And like when I got like the first fight that I got into with a white kid was right outside my grandmother's house. And like when I came back in and they were like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, he called me the N-word and then tried to run away. And they were like, what'd you do? I was like, I chased him down and beat his ass. And they were like, good, that's what you do. End of discussion. End of discussion. That's what you do. You don't let people disrespect you. Like plain and simple. So my perspective on a lot of this stuff is I never had that piece where I was carrying around some pain in me because I never got my lick back. I got every fucking lick that was owed me my entire life. Like, and I'm like, and I got a Neapolitan friend group. Like me and my homeboy, bro, one of my best friends, JC, eventually I'm gonna have him online with me. He'll tell you, like, we had a white dude that was messing with one of our homies, Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican, messing with his girl, his white girl, and felt some type of way about them being together and like talk shit about him. We caught that dude at a party and slammed his head in the door like 8 times, and then made him go home. Like allegedly. I mean, he's still running around with the scar. It ain't that big a deal. It's what it is. He never got his lick back. He's probably racist. But I've never gone. But my thing is, I've never been in my entire life in a situation where I was like, I'll take the ass beating. I'm not saying that I'm Billy Badass out here. I'll get beat up. I'll probably beat you and your family up at your house later, but I'll take that ass whooping initially because I'm going to say what I got to say. I ain't about to walk around feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
Period. And so and everyone that I have these conversations with, and it's usually older black people because they did go through a time where the common nomenclature was like, you don't mess with them white people, they'll kill you. Because they lived a different life. My family, we were like, we'll die on our feet. It's what it is. We ain't kneeling to these motherfuckers. Period. Anybody. Period. So when I say I carry myself like a man, I'd carry myself like a man. I'm like, cool, like we'll be off this planet together. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to live kneeling. I'm not. I refuse. And the culture in my family was that refusal. That was reinforced. Like I saw my uncles knock people out at the door that were related to us for being disrespectful. We run on respect in my family. And they're like, you're not going to disrespect the family. You're not going to disrespect the patriarch of the family in front of the women. You going to catch these hands. And that's the way that I grew up. So like, for me, it's a cultural thing because I can understand feeling some type of way if you were in a situation, because I've given that blessing to a bunch of people, some of them was white, of not being able to get your leg back because there just ain't shit you can do. We had words and now you done caught these hands. There's no recourse for you because you know in the back of your mind that I allowed you to live. Like, and you at least got that. Also, you've been scarred, so I'll see you coming. Like, it's what it is. But when you get defeated on that level, it fucks with you and it tinges your mindset. And like, if you're indoctrinated into that, it's just like when the experiment they did when they put the fleas in the jar and it teaches them to not jump out of the jar, even though they can jump way higher, they get trained not to. Indoctrinating children into racism is a detriment to them because you are crippling them moving forward because now they go, I'm 5 years old. My parents just told me I'm a fucking victim. And they live their life out like that. And then they just don't like people like me because I'm just like, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat his ass. Like, I don't care. Y'all all just meet as far as I'm concerned if we on a battlefield. And that's the way that I was raised. Most people aren't raised like that. Like, and that's by a family that experienced the neighborhood, the house that I grew up in, my grandmother's house. When I was born in 1984, they came to that house and tried to burn it down because they were the first black family to move into that neighborhood. And my mom didn't tell me that until I was 27. And they never told me I couldn't do shit. My grandparents grew up in City. Kansas City had a hard color line. My grandmother took me everywhere they couldn't go and never said shit about them not being able to go there. She took it to her grave. She never talked to me about racism ever. She died. Never said a word about it. Was like, you can do whatever you want to fucking do and you can go where you want to go. And if people disrespect you, handle that business to whatever level you deem necessary.
Yeah, wow. Somebody else, I don't know if it's like a relative or something like that, but my mom told me about a situation where a mom took their kid everywhere and she had her knife with them. Yeah. And she gave that present. You know how, like, I'm 5'2", but I give off of like a hard presence and stuff. Like you know not to fuck with me, right? And so that's the type of energy she was given. And so even though she would go through the whites only or door or facility, whatever, they knew not to fuck with her.
Yeah,
Before we move on, hang on, guys. Before we move on, I want to acknowledge Chef Payne in the house.
Hello, everybody. What's going on?
What's going on, R-Pain? You got that goodie bag? You getting ready? Are you getting? You get to stay up a little bit late tonight.
I can stay up a little late. It's not that late anyway, man. It's early for me, man. Shoot.
Oh wow,
I'm retired, man. My life is 24/7.
Oh, I thought the nursing home wants you in bed at a certain time.
I'm trying to stay out of the nursing home.
Okay, I'm sorry. Assistant living.
Both of them.
You can't be doing them like that. That's dirty.
I ain't doing no mind.
So, Chef, did you catch any of this conversation tonight?
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about your ailments and shit for a second, you know, and then this new conversation here. But I mean, I had my road to Damascus. I mean, when you get old enough, man, you're gonna have your road to Damascus ailments, man. And I tell you what, I got stories to tell. That's why I'm trying to get back into shape. Let me tell you, let me say this. I mean, listen, when you go to the hospital, you don't have no more shame. You know that, right? When you're in there, there's no shame, right? I went into the hospital this last time, man, and so many nurses was playing with my Johnson. I haven't had that much fun since before I was married. You know,
so what did you hurt, bro? I need that injury. What you did?
So I'm just saying, you know, I mean, they would have changed it. And then, you know, I had to get this catheterization where they, you know, throw the dye in your body. So they put you on a gurney, like it's a death gurney. Like if you were going to go to the death penalty with the lethal injections, the same shit, right? But you're butt naked, your Johnson's out, and you're laying there, and all the goddamn everybody's around you, and you like this. I'm saying, God damn. Listen, it's cold in the room. There's shrinkage and everything going on and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? So
he said, "Touch my glowworm, bitch." It's cold.
Holy shit! So they shoot this shit in your arm, right? So it's a dye so they can see, right? And you know, when they shot it in there, it kind of warms you up. I'm saying, "Ooh, what the fuck is going on?" I'm feeling all these sensations and shit. I'm saying, "Wait a minute." I said, "Where am I? I mean, I was like a sex show, or what the fuck is going on?" So after that's over, you have to do the ass out perp walk back to your room. So no matter what you do, they got those gowns and shit you put on, and somehow your ass is always out. So you got to do the ass out. I call it the ass out perp walk. So you walking back to your room, you trying to hold that shit back there, you know. And I said, "Holy fuck, man! I gotta stay out of this thing. You gotta just stay out of the hospital." But after you come out, your shame is gone. You have no more shame. It's just gone. He said, "Whatever shame I had, that's just gone." You know, hey, you know what? You want to see it? Hey, you want to see it? Come on, hey. I'll tell you what, man. So I'm gonna try to prolong having to go back to the hospital as long as I can, ever. Ever, man. Ooh. You know, so
you know the funniest story I ever heard, and Trey's gonna grin at this one. A couple of my buddies were in the service, so both of them told me a similar story happened to them. They both got blown up, shot up, whatever the case was. They're so they have a catheter. A nurse comes in finally.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they're at 21 at this point. Obviously, you know, the horny little guys. They get the biggest boner ever, and it was a catheter in. One is a Marine, one is a Navy. I mean, Army, excuse me. Imagine how much
you
pain
said the
they're in.
catheter is in?
Yes, as they get a boner.
They got a boner with the catheter. They're some horny dudes, man.
They're 21. What the fuck are you expect? They're
they 21.
They was young, yeah.
This is during our Iraqi freedom. And they haven't seen a woman in 6 months.
Yeah, no, I'm with you now. Listen, I had the catheter moment. I swear, I had the nurses that putting this shit in, and this shit hurts, right? Yeah. And the nurses were there. I said, "You know what? I thought I'd never say this, but thank God my shit ain't 10 inches long, man. And they just bust out laughing, man. I said, man, they're ramming this shit in it, man. Listen, stay healthy, everybody. Stay healthy as long
Man.
as you live. Stay healthy.
Hey, between you and Pete tonight, I'm sitting here cringing with my hole in my stomach. Man, this out there urinating red stuff. You talking about this? Oh man!
Oh my
Bro.
God! You know what?
Didn't I mention
Sean,
this show's not
heard-
PG?
Sean, you
Oh.
heard what happened to me, right?
I don't want to hear it.
I'm
good.
No, I'm gonna tell you, bro. It's nasty. No, Sean, I ruptured my Achilles at the club, bro.
At the club?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then had to walk 2 blocks to my car, and then drive home, and then the next morning I went in. But that's the other thing that I was gonna say was like, it's important to know who you know, because I got my surgery done 5 days after the event happened, because I know people.
Yeah.
And I have a network, and I'm like, one of the best sports medicine doctors in the city was like, yo, I got you. He's like, I can get you in Friday. Like, come over to my house. I'll check you out there and verify that we need to do the surgery. And then, like,Ll just get you on the schedule.
Yeah, because you got to do that fast.
Like, the thing is, if you try to book go try to book a surgery for fucking anything right now.
Oh, forget it. I know.
You wait months. Like, it's insane. Like, how long because like my parents were just like, what do you mean you have surgery Friday? Like, that's not possible. I was like, I know the doctor. And she was like, what? He's really gonna he's gonna do your surgery on Friday? I was like, yeah.
Ray, you just went to the scenarios of what Groom's question was. You are unique, and I want you to recognize and understand that. You said they never told you about slavery. Yes, they did. They told you very indirectly by taking you to all of those places and showing you can go anywhere you want. They were telling you about slavery and preparing you to be fearless and preparing you not to be conditioned, like you said, very clearly without it being said in words. And that's a very unique, valuable thing that you had in your advantage. And so I would just say, don't take it for granted because you are there, that everyone had that opportunity. You were raised to be fearless, to what you just said. Raised. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I was like, but the thing is, it goes back to what I originally said. It comes down to decisions. Like, my family chose, even when we were living in the hood, like I grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in this city. One of the worst ones. It's still terrible to this day. They can't even gentrify it. It's terrible. And my mom regularly told me, we live here. We're not of this. You're going to be around different people. You're going to experience, you're going to be able to navigate in any circle that you go in. You will not go anywhere with your head down. And I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that's maybe we need to shift to that level of teaching about slavery then.
And to be honest with you, maybe we do, because what you're sharing are the examples of how we can get out of this conditioning. And that's one thing that it is a condition. You said it earlier. Systemic. It's systemic, and that's we sometimes overlook, and it's very important because I was just reading excerpts from the Willie Lynch letter, and man, it's so strategically placed and based that we don't even realize that we're going through it.
Right.
And that's what it is.
Well, it's just like everybody. But the thing is, though, like, think about the people who, like, when we come into that conflict where it's like the two different narratives meeting each other. People who have that victim mentality are always want to tell you about what you can't fucking do that you're actually doing. Right. Like, they can't even see it. Like, but it's because they're going, hey, my grandmother said this. My mom taught me this. It was reinforced by my grandma. Everybody I saw around me walked around with their head down. We can't leave the block because the white man's going to get us. Like,
right. There's a certain comfort. There's a certain comfort in staying in the victim mentality. And I think that's a lot a lot of blacks are comfortable there.
Well, you can fit in because and the thing is, I can talk about it, but it's like when people are like, "Oh, cops are bad." I'm like, I agree to a certain extent because as a I'd say I'm more of a centrist, but like I lean a little bit right. I don't like police, but it's because they don't do what they need to do for the class that they're in for me because of their misconceptions. And I'm like, yo, we ain't in the same pay grade, bro. Like, you work for me and I need my dogs acting right. But I also grew up in that culture and I've also actually experienced police brutality. Like, I actually experienced it. Like, with the shit that we talk about when they're like, what happened to you? I have a what happened to you. I do.
I agree.
And you know what? You know what? We got that lick back. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like,
just in listening, great, and listening to you, what I'm hearing is that you were raised, for example, to get that lick back. You were raised to be fair. You was raised to be a hard worker. You was raised a lot of ways that you're subscribed. You need to, and I agree with you. You got to realize that if you're trying to raise somebody to get to where you are, but you're not recognizing the level of where they are, it will be failed all the time.
I don't think you can do that with adults. You can't do it with adults. You can only fix it with kids.
Well,
that's the only way. Like, because
I'm not disputing that because it is. You can do it, but it takes a lot more patience and tolerance and understanding. Not a lot of people got that. But the point being that you can't teach somebody calculus if you don't realize that they don't understand addition and subtraction.
Right.
And that's what we try and do. We often try and say, yo, you could know calculus. What do you mean? And not realizing that they don't know how to add and subtraction. So we got to teach them addition and subtraction, then teach them multiplication, then teach them algebra in order for them to even get the idea or the conversation of calculus.
Okay. You know what? I can take that. I'm honestly like at the space that we're in now. And it's the same thing that I'm doing with my family. I'm skipping everyone. I was like the last baby that was born. I'm starting my experiment with that motherfucker because she's innocent and her parents at least partially got their fucking heads on straight. At least partially.
Hang on a second.
So that's stuff I can work with. I'm like, I can work with that. I was like, everybody else, I'm like, you guys can get on board and like I can sit down and have the conversation with you, but like I'm not investing in any of y'all. Because I've seen the results are the results. The family's where it's at. I don't like it. So the only way to fix this, if you got a bunch of matriarchs running around with their little unsuccessful fiefdoms, is to just find the youngest one and go, I'm going to implant my rhetoric here. We'll start here. This kid's going to have something different.
All right, before we move on, I would acknowledge my brother Paul on the panel. What's going on, Paul?
Paul, what's going on, Paul?
What's good, everyone? I was just waiting for my chance to get in. First of all, reckless. You are reckless.
Bruh.
You're 40 years old in a club still. Come on, man.
Yep. Hey, bro.
You still trying to bust a move in a club, man? You still trying to do the winning?
I'm trying to bust some down in the club, bro. What the fuck you mean? Like, hey, bro. I just got to a point where I can afford to entertain some hoes, man. Like I had to go where they was at.
See, that's why you know
what's real messed up? You're gonna love this, Paul. You know what's real messed up is like I was trying to be back out in them streets so bad, and like now I'm basically back out of them again. Because you know who showed up to take care of me, bro? My ex.
What, an ex?
My ex. My ex. Like there wasn't an ex, it was the ex. I was like, all right, dude, like fine.
That ex.
Yeah. I mean,
trying to tell you something, man.
Like,
you
as soon as she heard that I was fucked up, she was like, hey, I got you a bag of stuff. Let me come over, clean out the kitchen, and fucking get you set up. Like, you want me to sit here with you? I was like, yes. Fuck.
So that's what I'm saying. It's time to put away childish things, man. You need to be grounded. You need to get somebody and chill, man. Like you keep talking about all the successful people you know. Yeah. They're all married and grounded. They've been married like 30 years.
Yeah, but we can still go to the club once a quarter.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. We bring the women with us. What are you talking about?
you added that
Look,
in.
if you're gonna be,
goalposts.
I'm saying, if you're gonna be in a little booth or whatever and whatnot,
Yeah.
fine. But again, you get on the dance floor and you say, all right, clear the floor. I mean, again, 40, you feel like you're 20 until you don't. So,
dude, I still
and
feel
you're already
it, bro.
starting to
I'm coming
experience
back.
that now. So it's like, again, 20 years ago, you could have did all kinds of crazy stuff and nothing. Your body was elastic. You lose elasticity past 40. So you're finding that out the hard way.
You know what I'm gonna do, Paul? I'm gonna get you, Trey, Chef, and JT in another booth so you guys can do your 2 steps together when you're walkers.
Oh, that's all. That's all. Oh, you gotta get that 40 vibe. That's all you're doing is the 2-step. That's it, man. Well, I let my wife do all the. I let my wife do all the work. Because she likes to twirl and spin and do all that kind of stuff. I'd be bobbing like, yeah,
man.
So
Paul, I'm telling you, bro. After I get these staples out, bro. Next thing that's going in this Achilles is some stem cells, bro. I'm coming back strong. Don't mess with me, bro. I do what I want to do. This is my body, bro.
40 is a dangerous age. 40 is the most dangerous age of all. You know what I mean? It's 40, you still think you can fight. I mean, like, guys still get back in the ring. So I'm only 40. I can still fight. I can still do everything, man. I'm just telling you.
Oh no, sir. I ain't trying to get hit in the head at 40. That's different.
Freaking what's going? Tyson's back. What is in his 50s? He's getting back in.
He's at his 58.
I don't think Tyson's gonna get hit that much, bro. Like, that dude's a monster. Yeah.
But see, even that, he can go and see. You see the sparring, you see the workouts and all that kind of stuff. It only takes like one bob, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that just went like when it wasn't supposed to. Like, everything.
But what if he hits you, Bennett? What if
he's
hitting you?
Everything's an if. Look, Nolan Ryan was like 45, 50 years old. He can still throw it like 95 on a whim if he wanted to. The next pinch, he's got, elbow dislocated. I mean, it just had. We're just, it's a young man's game out there, man. I'm just telling you.
I agree. I agree. I used to give this example of real quick of a story of people who tore their Achilles, playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Thinking they were Jordan.
Yep.
Came down. That name was Sean.
Literally, that's why I stopped. I started training seriously around 2001. And again, we were playing some guys, some Wall Street guys were out on the city on the local courts, and he goes up, he comes down, that ankle's gone, and I'm consulting at the time, so it's like I'm getting paid hourly, so I'm like, I can't be. And I just had my first kid, and I said, look, I can't be out here, like balling like this. So I stopped. So that's really when I got serious about the gym. I was still like 158 pounds, soaking wet or whatever, at 6'3", even at that time. But that was the moment I said right there, I'm out of here. I was like 38, something like that. I'm done.
At the time.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I just can't be out there like that. But yeah. A good discussion tonight, guys. I really enjoyed the exchange with you guys, from the political point of view, whatever. I think my man, I'm sorry, my brother in the green shirt. I'm sorry, your name again? Sean.
Peacock. We're going Peacock.
I think you kind of landed my plane while I was going to say reckless. I mean, you are in so many ways a success. I really respect you a lot in terms of how you conduct yourself. And again, the fact that you shared a lot about your upbringing, how you were raised. Yeah, maybe if a lot more of us were raised the way you were raised, then a whole lot of us would be better off. But I think sometimes I see in you, sometimes there is this sort of disconnect because you've somewhat been isolated or raised a certain way. I don't see a level of empathy, not sympathy, empathy for the masses the way it could be. Because I think what your advice is, how you your way forward for us is what we need to be listening to, a lot of us. And I think a lot of it is just about the connecting before information can take place. Sometimes you have to connect before you can transfer. Like, you got to plug something into a wall before you can transfer power to something. So that would be the only thing I would say for you. But I just want you to know that I think your background, your story, you could be such a positive influence on a lot more people in a lot of ways if you just tweak it just a little bit. Still be reckless, but you could. But
stop telling people that they suck.
That would help a lot. I think it would. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Look, and we all look, and all of us, we all like, if you have a men's group, we all have that archetype, right? We got that guy who's just going to tell it how it is. He's going to tell it straight, whether you like it or not. Then you got the people person, he's the guy who's going to, pat you on the back when things go bad or whatever. You got your yeet, I mean, everybody has that kind of archetype. If you have a true sort of core group of people, and certainly you're one of those guys. But Sean, again, the voice of reason, he can look at the 10,000 foot view of things, and I just appreciate his thoughtfulness in terms of how he sees a lot of the issues. And the question I raised earlier is, sometimes we have this dichotomy. It's like we're either we're making excuses, or are we explaining causes? See, with Sean, I was looking at him saying, we're just explaining, bless you, we're just explaining cause. Like there's a root cause. I mean, this generational wealth gap, there's reasons for that. It's built in, and we've been trying to dig ourselves out of it for a long time. That is not an excuse. That is a cause. Now, how do we fix it? Then I'm saying we need to listen to Reckless. So I don't think that teaching history automatically puts you into victimhood. In fact, for me, when I learned all about this stuff, it was very empowering. And my thing for me and the guys I went to college with, we were all like, we got to upscale, we got to do better. Because of where we came from. For me, most of the guys I knew, we were all first generation who went to college. All of our parents, they grew up in the hood. They grew up in Elizabeth, Newark, Orange, New Jersey, all those places. So we were all coming, this was all new to us. No one understood what wealth was. No one came from anything. And then when I look at now where all these guys are at, I mean, every profession you name, independent, real estate, police officers, all that. Like I said, you were talking about the cops. A lot of these guys became cops. Understanding that history was a flame to us. It said, okay, we got to do better. And then our kids that followed after us, they're doing crazy stuff that we could never have thought of in terms of that. But I remind my kids all the time, remember where you come from, and remember who you represent, and remember those who you are the dream of those who came before you. So never forget that. So I put that up in their minds about their past all the time. But it has never been a crutch for them. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm going, we break it because that's what we do. Yeah. The ADOS story in this country is about overcoming. Even though all the dark stuff that's there, we're still overcoming. So I've never thought that I'm saddling my kids with victimhood, because we're giving them the real in terms of things that happen, and things that in a lot of places that we may not live in, that still happen. The systemic stuff, the conditions, the water, the lead pipes, all these poor, impoverished places where, a lot of things that are happening to people who look like us, those are still realities that I don't want them to get away from. But at the same time, they have responsibility. So I can't have you acting up out there doing stuff that's like, that's not what we're on. So I think the two can go together. But again, it's just about tweaking in terms of the message, because both you and Sean are saying, the right things. But I thought there was a time you guys just weren't coming together. I thought the way you should.
Well, yeah. And so, even the lead pipe conversation, there's no city where the black people live in a place that's run by white people where they were like, we're going to make you have lead pipes. It's run by black people. They know the pipes are lead. If you you can't be like, yo, my house is a piece of shit, but I'm not going to fix anything, even though it's mine. Like you don't get to blame systemic racism for that. If you elect in all black people and you still got bad water, you don't look somewhere else. You look at the niggas you voted for. Like, they're the reason your water's bad. That's the shit I'm talking about.
That's not entirely true. They're not the reason.
I understand that you can inherit a problem, but like if I bought my house, right? My house, when I first bought this place, I had to replace the water heater. Day one. It was so bad, it was about to explode because the previous owner had left the water heater. Do I get to wait for the water heater to actually blow up in my garage? and spill water everywhere and have rust blasted all over the place and potentially more damage because he didn't replace the water heater? Or do I come into the house and go, let's look at the infrastructure of the house. I've got a laundry list of shit I got to fix. I got to start fixing it. It's not the previous owner's fault. This is my house now. I
totally get. But
that's what I'm saying.
What's the first thing that you said? First thing you said is that you bought a house.
Right. If you get elected into office as a city official and it's all black people,
but I'm saying
90% black people.
I'm not talking about the officials, though. I'm talking about you. The fact that you are in a position, you bought a house. Homeowners think differently than those who may live in tenements or apartments or aren't in financial position to buy a house. Now, again, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to, spend $800,000 to live in a suburb somewhere.
Right.
But again, the fact that you're buying a house, that's a totally different mindset. And how did most people in this country gain wealth? You either own land or you owned a home.
Right.
And again, when we had that housing crash in 2008 or whatever, all those black people who thought they were trying to get a head up because they got suckered into those sweet too good
the balloon loans.
Yes. And that wiped out like a third of black wealth right there that we really didn't have, but that just put us just further in the hole. But so I'm saying, but that what you just said, that to me is like the floor.
Yeah.
Until we get more people thinking about home ownership, really, not just some magical loan that just comes out of nowhere, but developing the assets so you can start owning stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's where I think a lot of people need to get to, and I think too few of us are there.
Right.
And Ray, I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
Point is that you said the water heater. That's what you do. Let's say your roof was leaking and you're in a rainy area. You're prioritizing the roof leaking before the water heater because it's more important. And now that water heater bursts because you didn't get to it yet. Are you blaming yourself because of that?
Yeah, because I bought that. You got to get. I mean, I don't know where everybody else lives, but I did my due diligence on the property. So I had an inspection. So I had a list of what needed to be fixed, and you know what I'm saying.
Right,
so
but when I inherited it, and they both needed to be fixed, but you prioritize the roof over the water heater initially, and the water heater bursted while you was doing the roof.
Yeah, but that doesn't change anything.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, okay, so you know that there's all these problems. Then it's like, cool. Then if we want to blame systemic racism, then the black people need to just leave the white people in charge, right? And so then you can have this conversation. But if you're going, hey, we want to take over the means of control and we want to run the city, and then the city's fucked up and you're running it, and you were been here for years. The Flint, Michigan thing specifically hit the news for us. That water been fucked up. It became a political issue when they needed us to feel some type of way about some shit. And then they said, hey, it's the white man's fault, systemic racism, even though there was like 2 white people that were in positions of power in that city, bro. And they wasn't the ones in charge of the water.
Can I say this? The white people that you're referring to don't always come in a shade. Just because you are of color don't mean that you're not white mentally.
Well, I mean, whiteness and blackness, those are both class denominations. They're not actual races. So, I mean, technically speaking, I would qualify as white because I'm a winner.
Really?
I'm just saying, those are class.
I can't win with you tonight, Ray.
Hey, dude. I'm just saying, there's no black landia. That's all I'm saying.
Ray,
and there's no white landia.
What I'm saying
is the Greek man, because he's white. He'll tell you he's not white.
Right. What I'm saying is mentality. Those people who are in office got in office for jobs. They didn't get in office to change it. And it's an unfortunate reality. And if we don't power those jobs, we need to learn that better. And that goes back to the mathematics. You need to know addition before you can multiply.
But Sean, let me say this to you. They didn't get into office because they just wanted jobs. They got into office because people voted for them. And as long as black people keep voting for other black people because of the color of their skin, we're going to always be fucked up.
Yep.
And it's never going to change.
Right, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier: being promised nothing and then just going along to get along and going, "Hey, this is our party. We vote for these people. This is who's going to take care of us," and not getting any type of. I mean, up until recently, nobody even ran on the premise of fixing the fucking water. So you sitting here with scale skin and fucked up water, just voting niggas in. And no one fixes the water until now it's a nationwide issue because of systemic racism.
But they still haven't fixed it. They're sending billions of dollars across the streets.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that I'm saying. So like a perfect example would be like the neighborhood that I live in. It's a working class neighborhood. It's actually, I'd say working class to upper working class is very gentrified. So we've got real expensive houses, real inexpensive townhomes. And it's a quiet place. But I'm like, when my mom came and picked me up today, she was like, "Hey, like, what's going on? They're doing a bunch of stuff out here." I'm looking. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. They're probably fixing something because like they've been fixing stuff in the neighborhood." Come back, they're getting ready to repave the road. Now, Kansas City proper has potholes everywhere. They got all these taxes. They collect an additional 1% tax that the city levies independently on every citizen that makes any money within the Kansas City borders. Period. Okay. They got potholes everywhere. Infrastructure's fucked up. All the water pipes are busting. Guess who's in charge? Niggas. Like, where's the money going?
Okay, yeah, but that's one thing. You know what I would do? Here's an idea. And we could move, and it's your show, Roman. Yeah, I would sell Flint, Michigan to Amazon. Bro, give them a deal that they couldn't refuse. You know what? They could fix that whole city up for around a few $1 billion.
And have jobs. Good jobs.
And build a school, build infrastructure, fucking landing ports for their guys who want to go over to New York in helicopters and into Canada, but a hour ride. I said, listen, Bezos, I'll give you, I'll sell all this shit to you for $1. You build infrastructure, schools, and fix the water.
Yeah.
And it would be like a blip on their financial radar.
Yeah. And I mean that's the issue.
And they could change the name of that shit to Amazon City. I don't give a
Facts. Like, but that's the problem. It's like these are self-inflicted wounds, and like we're saying, oh, it's systemic. Like no one's doing this at this point to us. There's no racism that's actually implemented on black people aside from the 6 unarmed black men that die every year to the cops that we hear about. Right?
That's not.
There's nothing that you can't do legally. Where if you are willing to get your lick back, they gotta pay you. Nothing. There's literally nothing because it's literally illegal. People just let people do shit to them. Okay, they take stuff laying down. That white people don't make you take it laying down. We choose to take it laying down.
You mentioned earlier that getting your lick was actually physical, and you got away with that. I'm assuming.
I grew up. I've been fighting my whole life, bro. Like that's just what we did.
You're not.
But the thing was, it wasn't. But the point 90% of the time, it wasn't even race related. It was a bunch of us. We were all in the same socioeconomic circumstance. We clicked up and we get into fights. Like it's just. I mean,
more reckless. You don't think the fact that your mom, I believe you said your mom is in law enforcement.
Yeah, she was a detective.
Did that give you any sense of freedom that you would not have ordinarily had? You don't think so? Okay.
No, it made. I mean,
just asking. I'm not leading.
Well, no, I got better at not getting caught. As far as like that being leveraged, the only time that it's been leveraged is in adulthood, and that's because when they pull me up and pull my name, I'm flagged in the system because of some of the training that I've had. So they know that like if shit goes sideways, they might not walk away from that one. So I get 2 cars every time I get pulled over, regardless of what it is, unless it's a state trooper or a sheriff.
Well, the point that actually you both are making great points is that again, you're unique. Let's just be clear on that. And you're speaking as if everybody has the same privileges and or experiences that you do, and they don't.
Hey, listen. Being willing to die on your feet is not a privilege. That is the bare minimum of being a man.
Well, the whole
and provide. Like if you ain't gonna protect yourself, how are you gonna protect your fucking family?
Let him finish. What's the point, Sean? What's the point you're trying to make, Sean?
My bad, Sean.
Yeah, what's the point?
You believe that, but in all actuality, to be able to even say that, believe that, or understand that took a lot of training, and that you received that a lot of people didn't get.
But
So
but what's the difference? Because they didn't get that training, then what?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get that they're a little bit further behind. It's kind of like for example, when you use the example of the water heater and the roof that I was house you bought.
Yeah.
And I said now the roof, because it's a rainy season or snow and whatever, you had to fix that first. And while you were fixing that roof, the water bursted. Are you to blame for that? No, you're not. The actual person who didn't take care of it before you, yes, you bought the house and yes, you knew about it, but you're not to blame for the poor not taking care of, regardless of how you want to sit there and take on the responsibility. You're not to blame for that.
So
that, the person who failed to uphold it, which was the owner before you, is to blame for that.
So how far back do you get to go? Because Flint, Michigan's been a black city for a long time. Okay, so the person who owned it before the current administration was also niggas. So and the people before them was probably also black. Like,
do we want to
how far back are we going? Are we going back to the white man who put the pipe in the ground?
Well, fine. I don't necessarily want to go back there, but I just want to deal with, I guess cat money flow. I guess.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people talk about these black cities, but these cities are connected to states. So there's federal dollars, there's state dollars, there's city dollars. So a lot of these areas, people talk about all these black-run cities in the South or whatever, but they're in red states. In a lot of those red states, they refuse federal monies. So again, do we want to look at the city problem in isolation from resources available that the state could be getting?
What about
that situation?
Is Detroit in a red state?
No.
No, I didn't. I'm not point one to the other. I'm just saying, if we're gonna have this conversation connected to, because there's a lot of these black cities in the South.
Yeah, the point's still made. But let me ask you something, Mr. Bennett.
Sure.
The people who run for those jobs in the South, those mayors and stuff, knowing that they're in red cities, knowing that the infrastructure from the governor down is not going to support the needs they have. I was going to say, why do they take those jobs, and what kind of promises do they make that they know they can't keep?
Do we know that that's even true though? Do we know that there's money that's being withheld from them?
Medicaid was withheld in a lot of red states with the Obamacare.
No. I understand that specific, but like when you're talking infrastructure, I mean, like cities are supposed to be profitable. You're taking over a part of a massive company. The part of the company, like it's not. If you have a city, so for instance, Kansas City,
okay,
they elect and they misuse funds. It's not that the state is blocking Kansas City from getting any money. We make all the money in this fucking state. It's us in St. Louis, and we're way better than St. Louis is. No offense, that city's complete garbage. But we make all the money. We make all the money. They don't fix the fucking potholes, and they have an imposed city tax. How do you do that? Like this, you're not only making all the money, you're exacting an additional tax, additional money on top of the money the city makes.
Well, you asked
on
the question.
Everyone here, and then they're misappropriating the funds, and then to say that, oh well, Missouri goes red by and large, with the exception of Kansas City and maybe St. Louis, that we're not getting funding. We are getting more than we have. We have multiple championship teams here. Honestly, we got like almost 4 once the Currents win their deal, but we're getting money. They're not using it the way that it needs to be used. They have a misappropriation and a misfocus, and that's based on the people who are in charge of going, hey, do we want to fix pipes, or do you want to put a fucking train that goes in a fucking line instead? Oh, we're going to put the train because that's cool and people will come here. Oh, hey, do you want to fix the school districts, or do you want to give everyone 20 fucking year tax abatements so that the schools don't get money, so that you can get these buildings given to people basically so that they can rehab them and make money at our expense? We're going to give them the buildings.
Okay,
that's the way this shit is running. Like they're making decisions, but it's the people who voted them in that advocate for this shit. It's self-inflicted wounds.
Let me ask you this question. Why are you not in politics?
Oh, I slam people's heads in fucking doors. I can't. What do you? I can't run for office.
All right.
His mom couldn't protect him.
Everyone will show up with fucking lines on their heads and shit. Y'all be like, Ray's really a dick out here. I'll be like, yes, I am. All right.
But Ray, there's been plenty of politicians who slams people's heads into walls. So that's an excuse. To your point. That's an excuse.
No, that's not an excuse. You just said that Trump can't be in office. What the fuck? He ain't slammed no one's head in the door.
But he's been, but there's been people, especially in smaller cities like you're talking about, who have been slamming people's heads into things and did a lot worse, killed, etc. And it's very publicly known, and they still have achieved offices because that was their goal to change. But I don't know why what the reason for the goal is.
Here's what you're forgetting. Ray won't stop. He'll probably take out the whole party.
For real. You get me in a debate, I'd be like, bro, you want to step outside real quick?
Or
sideways.
No, you won't be stepping outside. You're bringing your goddamn minigun into this and like, say hello to my little goddamn fucking friend. But
like, you seen all them weigh-ins go wrong? That's me at a political debate. So I just be like, you're stupid. Like, that don't even make sense.
The reason why I asked you that question is because the same way that you're saying so many people are making excuses and voting people in is the same way I can look at the way how you aren't going into politics, but you're saying that there's a lot of issues when in fact you have a lot of great ideas and solutions, but you haven't taken the step to go into that world. Now I can understand why, because I wouldn't suggest that you do. The point that I'm making is not that you do, it's the point that you too can be accused of making excuses for making changes.
No, Sean. Here, I'll give you an actual answer. I'll give you a good one. You can't fix the engine of a car that's actively on fire until you put the fire out. So, and it's the same premise as being with policing, because I know how policing works because I grew up doing that. You don't just have one bad cop. You either have all good bad cops or all bad cops. When we see these people that get murdered atrociously on the news where they decide they're judge, jury, and executioner, that's how those stations run. That's not that officer, because it doesn't work like that. It's units. They run like military units. So whatever, if me and you, Sean, we shared a car and we work at a police station and you ride with me, however I act is how you act. However you act is how I'm on board with it, because we have to protect each other. Now, when you extrapolate that out to where people are fine with doing stuff on camera, that means that not only was it that car, everyone who works that shift at minimum is on board with what's going on. Which is why you always see the other officers are like, nah, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I'm going to stand here and watch you kill this dude. I didn't touch him. That's the way policing works. That's also the way politics are. Like unless you can sidestep and just get in as president and just sign some executive orders, going into politics is the exact same thing. If the entire city's corrupt and I get an alderman's seat, I can't fix shit. I'm just there. But I get to collect a nice paycheck and I get inside information so I can get rich.
You're lending
me personally, Sean, I could go do that. And like, as far into politics as I would get is I would be a strategist for somebody. And that's been offered up, except for my guy didn't make it.
Right. And you're lending to my point. The point that I'm trying to make is that we said earlier, we voted them in. And I said earlier that, when I speak white or I'm not speaking specifically race. I'm speaking that if your mentality is getting into politics, why are you getting into politics is the bigger question. And that's
true.
No, right.
True.
That's something that's really, but so if you're in it for the wrong reasons from the start, it really doesn't matter that you got the job or who voted you in, etc., because you lied your way to there, so that's the point that I'm like, I'd rather how you ask, how far do we go back as far as the root of the issue?
So Sean,
you can go into politics with the right intentions, and then once you get there, feel helpless, and then you fall off the cliff.
Yep.
I agree. By a lot of people, that's why I say a lot of people don't get into it who actually have genuine ideas and heart, because they getting into basically something that they realize, oh man, this is worse than I could have ever imagined.
But Sean, the issue with that is though, and the reason that happens is because politics was never intended to be a career. That's the fucking problem. That's the reason I'm like, you can't go in here and be like, oh, this is a career, you're going to get a paycheck, and like, you're just going to do the right thing. Like, it's impossible, because we've taken the system that was set up and bastardized it to the point now to where it is very minimally representative of what this country was founded on. That's the reason shit's fucked up. It's not capitalism that don't work. We don't do capitalism anymore. And people just keep pretending like we do. We don't. We haven't for a long fucking time. The way that our politics are set up, you're not supposed to just languish in there for years. They're not even supposed to technically get paid. They're supposed to be financially sufficient, and then they go to meetings in Washington to get policies done, and that's the extent of the fucking job.
I understand.
None of this stuff is running the way that it's supposed to begin with, so you can't fix a machine that has been demonized and turned into a fucking monster that has turned into a cage for us. Which isn't just us as in black people, it's us as in the American citizen.
Yeah.
This is the point.
Really fast, guys.
To the point.
Go ahead, Sean. Finish what you're going to say, and I'll finish up. Go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
You just actually lent to the whole point of why, in fact, when you were saying earlier that we are making excuses, why can't we do certain things? And you just gave all the reasons why.
I mean, it's not an excuse. I mean, you still have control of replacing your pipes. We're replacing them in Kansas City right now. Like that is an excuse for going. The white man's not letting us replace. But
you keep saying excuse. I'm not. That's why when I came into this, I said there's a difference between excuses and causes. I think both of you, have done an adequate job explaining what the cause is, why we can't get stuff done.
If I was the mayor, it would be an excuse for me to point to somebody outside of myself who makes those decisions about why the pipes are made out of lead still. Right, it is an excuse because you have control of it.
But that's what I was asking about as far as the flow of dollars. Now, and how many of us actually know like where the money goes? I mean, you get your local tax bill, right?
Right.
So you know where the money goes. You know, most of your taxes go to schools and maybe some municipal stuff or whatever. But as far as and even if you know where the money's going, is it adequate enough to do the job that needs to be done? Or if there's these other needs, like if school is going to take 70% of your local taxes to support the public schools, then is there going to be money left over to do these other jobs that everybody knows that needs to be done?
Right.
To the point that that was the point that I was making when I said roof versus your water cooler.
Yeah, but in this case, the lead pipes that are making people have crocodile skin and making them sick and causing them to die would be the roof. So I mean, the way that I'm looking, I'm like, what's actively killing people? The water that's going everywhere? Roof.
That's easily said now because we see it as an issue, but that wasn't something that was identified or was the major emphasis or the major problem at that time. And we can.
All right, Sean.
So my question is that who dictates what the problems are? The voters. So if it's not a problem for them, then like you don't get to complain about systemic racism if that wasn't your priority this whole time. Y'all been washing up and drinking this water for God knows how long, and it hasn't been an issue. So why is it now an issue then?
Because now same way cancer is an issue that existed all our lives. Same way fentanyl is an issue right now that existed all our lives. What don't you get about it?
All right, guys.
No, but fentanyl just became the roof.
All right.
You're gonna have to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Okay, so I have an idea because I know Sean and Ray, you guys have a lot to say, and I love the conversation. But we're over an hour, 2 hour, when we're like an hour and a half. And I don't hold you guys up because I know you guys have busy lives and everything. Well, we have lives, except Chef and Ray right now.
You retired. Be quiet, man. You also retired guys talk about where y'all going.
No, so I can't.
Here's an idea. I'll email Ray and Sean. When would you guys like to have a part 2? You tell me what day, and I'll set it up. What does you guys go at it?
If it's gonna be around this time, I mean, honestly, just let me know. I can put it on my calendar. I just need to have more than 24-hour notice, preferably, and have it not be on a Friday or Saturday once my legs heal. But I mean, while my legs fucked up, I can do this whenever.
Okay, so
I ain't got nowhere else to go.
I will hit you up tomorrow. Sean,
Shadow
I'll
the
hit you
Cloud.
up tomorrow
You're
too. And let me know
You're
when
done.
works for you guys. You guys are gonna have a 2-hour window to go right at it. How's that sound?
You got me and Sean just arguing for 2 hours.
I don't want to be. I really don't want to be just us two because, quite
No,
frankly,
I'll get Arpain in here. Don't worry, he loves this stuff, right, Arpain?
everybody
Sean,
who's on, it gives us balance because
I agree.
It lends to different perspectives, and I think that's all we're doing is sharing different perspectives.
Oh yeah,
Correct.
when I say you two guys, I mean because you have great feedback for each other. You guys are agreeing and disagree. But I'll have other people on. Don't worry, you're not gonna be the only two little lovebirds on this show. But let's hit the final thoughts. Ray, you go first, and then we'll go round Ben after that. Go ahead, Ray.
It's 2024. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nowhere you can't go. Go out and explore. Leave your block. If you really think the white man's trying to hold you down, I can tell you straight up. I had one of the best white spinal surgeons reach out when I tore my Achilles to help me get set up. I had one of the other best sports medicine doctors, that's an Indian man who Indians apparently don't like us either, reach out and do the surgery within 5 days, which you can't, like, a normal person couldn't facilitate that if they wanted to, unless you also know a bunch of surgeons. It's this whole divide doesn't actually exist unless you're poor. And the solution to that is to just not be poor. Like, honestly, like, there's a bunch of stuff that changes once you're no longer poor, and you can actually start networking with people that not only you can benefit, but that can also benefit you, because people like to help other people, including people that don't look like them. A lot of these narratives, a lot of these silos that people want to put themselves in, that this whole self-segregation shit, good luck finding a good sports medicine doctor to put you back together in 5 days based on your race. Good luck with that shit. Like, it's one of the reasons that people indefinitely lose. Now, I don't necessarily know if I have the appropriate mindset, but I do know this. If there was an entire population with my mindset versus any of the other counterpoint mindsets that I've come in contact with to date in regards to Black people, we would be more successful. We would have more money. We would have generational wealth. We would have effective leadership, and we wouldn't have a bunch of ratchet baby mamas out here subjecting their children to all sorts of horrible upbringing that sets them on a path that's going to make them an asset for whatever state they find themselves in, because they're going to end up in the criminal justice system.
And I think that's good said, Ray. Respect on that one. Peacock, I'm going to let your man hang out there, so go for it.
First off, I'm not a lovebird. I am a peacock. I'm glad you.
And you got to let him fly.
Secondly, Ray made a lot of good points. Some of the things that I'm piggyback on is that, yeah, you don't have a lot of issues unless you're poor. And unfortunately, a lot of us are poor. And when I say poor, defining what poor is what we got to learn better. And part of that definition needs to understand the difference between rich and wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to be rich. We need to be wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to be laborers. We need to be owners. Even if you're able to be a laborer in what you own. But the point is we got to change our mentality and our mindset to understand that a lot of times certain things, like Ray, that you said, are privileges. And I don't want you to offset or not realize or recognize that there are privileges that you have had. And not that has given you everything you got, because your hard work, your mentality, and how you were trained outside of being conditioned is part of the privilege and part of what makes you the man. And you're right. If there was a nation or all of us as a people thought like you did, we will be a lot more prominent. But part of that prominence is understanding, to your first point, that it takes us not to be poor, and also helping, and also understanding that there's a difference between rich and wealthy. And just because we're poor, it doesn't make us rich. And just because we're rich, wealthy.
Paul, you're up, my man.
I don't really have much to add to that. I thought both of those soliloquies were well put. I would just say again, Ray, get out of the club, man. You're done. All right, you're done. Get a wife, settle down.
You can't make me
Or
retire.
have some babies, and really,
That's
you
kind of
just
scary.
need to-
I think about it, Ray, multiplying shit. Like 60 little Rays running around.
Hey,
bro.
like he was saying, we need more Ray. We need more
Make a
Rays
whole
out
army
there.
unit, bro.
Please. If he's the seed going forward, oh my gosh! I mean,
So
bump a crop. That's all.
Let me get grandfather time in for final thoughts.
Am I up now?
Yep. Which do you prefer, grandfather time or
Can y'all
chef?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. And listen, I don't have much to say. One of the things I just think that I think part of our issue is never going to change as long as our politics are the way they are. That's how I feel, from the lowest level to the highest. The things that need to be fixed, we're never going to fix them because there's a certain comfort in the Black community by being victims.
Mm-hmm.
We're so tied to it that there's no way out. And we keep voting in the liberal policies, liberal people. I was going to put a video together with at least 10 Black mayors, both female and male, maybe a couple of AGs that are Black, and they are horrible people in leadership. Horrible, absolutely horrible, and they're damaging. And they got voted in by other Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that as long as we keep doing that shit, we're doomed. We are doomed. And well, it's doomed for so many other things, but that's just another thing. So I don't see much hope for the future in terms of Black subculture as a subculture in the United States. I think our way out is to be bred out of the way we are. Forget about this whole shit about Black love. We can't even agree with what Black is. Adolfs, FBO, all that other bullshit that we keep talking about. Black, I just had enough of it, man. It's just crazy because it never leads anywhere. Even if we have 3 Black people in a room, each one of them has a good idea. We'll kill each other for the one whose idea wants to win over everybody else. So I really, I'm really pessimistic about the future of us as a Black subculture, but not us as Americans. I just want to be an American. And I think that's our path forward. Fuck the color of our skin. Just go out there and achieve. That's what you need to do. And all of us have proven that regardless of the color of our skin, if we're left up to our own devices, we could do great things as long as we leave the bullshit behind, right? DEI, we don't need that shit. If one door's closed, you go open another one. And that's what we've been doing. We've had success through the darkest days in America, and all of a sudden we still can't stand our own 2 feet. Now, who says? Our politicians? Joe fucking Biden? What? Listen, we could do all the things we need to do. I remember when, I'm gonna be real quick with this, I'm gonna land it here. I remember when they changed the grade requirements for basketball players to get scholarships. In 1 year, that shit didn't make no difference. You know why? Because all the kids had better grades. I remember when Stern said you can't come to the league games with looking like a bum to all the Black players. They argued and screamed, you're a racist, blah, blah, blah. And now each one of them are fashionistas, right? They set trends with styles. We don't need all of this bullshit that our political leaders are telling us. We just need to go out there and compete. It's a meritocracy. We might lose. So what? Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. And that's what we need to do. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm just tired of us looking at our skin as some kind of goddamn fucking shield that we need to be protected from life. Lyndon Baines Johnson, when he came out and said, you know what, we can't let the darkies go out there because they've been behind for so long. We got to give them welfare. We got to give them all of this whole shit. Whether he was doing it so he was facetious or not, that was the beginning of our destruction. Because he said we couldn't compete with the white man. Because his arrogance told us we were too dog shit, stupid, and weak to stand on our own 2 fucking feet. I'm tired of that shit, man. And I'm tired of hearing it. And I'll land it there.
So, guys, first of all, I want to thank all everybody who showed up, people who are on, who left. Thank you for coming. It was literally, I'm looking at the numbers right now where we made. This is the best show we had on Wednesday so far. So, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. So I have nothing to say. My guest said what I need to say. When you don't think people care, or you think, oh, this politics stuff, do your research. That's the best thing I can tell you. I can sit here and tell you this and that. Ray, let me put Ray aside. He doesn't count. But no, seriously, like all these guys have something to say. We all have our own opinions. You have a voice. That is your most dangerous weapon. Is your voice. So a little upgrade on our schedule this Saturday on Hangout. If Kelly comes on, we're going back to the 90s, or we're doing history of text message. So I am looking forward to that. Ray, what are you doing on Saturday?
It depends. If I'm kicking it with my chick, then I won't be on here.
Okay, that's fine.
If not, then I'll swing through.
I'll send you the link no matter what, so you're aware of it.
Fair.
So, and obviously Sundays, like always, me and Paul are going to be breaking some grounds again. The gray area, like always. Oh, don't forget, Friday, the barbershop. Does anybody know what the topic of this week's barbershop, any chance?
I can find it real quick.
Yeah, that's why I checked was nothing on there.
Well, while you're doing that, I just want to say this one thing to Ray.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got a good woman.
I know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I know.
You're an asshole.
I was just getting
Get out of game, man. Get out of there, man.
I was about to have so much fun in these streets, bro. Ain't even right, man.
Yeah. So
Trust me, it ain't what it cuts out to be. You'll have fun for about a half a second before you'll be like, these streets are bullshit.
Sean, I just want you to understand something. I'm an anomaly. I don't think you understand.
Yeah, you are.
No statement there. So,
I don't think he posted it yet. I think he's got to show up to Thursday, but I don't think he's got the Friday.
Yeah,
he doesn't have
so I will be upgrading the channel tomorrow, so everybody be aware we're up to. So, except that, this is Groovy Reviews. I'm gonna go Spara. He's Ray. He's Paul. Peacock. Chef. As always, stay safe. Stay safe. Stay fresh, and I'll see you guys